If you wish to speak to any item on the agenda or during the public comment portion of the meeting, please fill out a speaker card. Each person addressing the board shall have 3 minutes to complete his or her comments on each agenda item for which he or she has filled out a card. The chair has the discretion to determine or alter the time limits on any agenda item. The Board of County Commissioners requests that speakers appearing under the public comment section of the agenda limit their comments or presentations to matters relating to county business that are within the board's control, authority, and jurisdiction.
Thank you, and welcome to our County Commission meeting. I'd like to recognize Pastor Steve Young with the Islander Alliance Church to lead us in the invocation this morning.
Thank you, and I want to just thank you for the privilege and the opportunity to be able to open the meeting in this way and acknowledge that your job can be both a blessing and a challenge, but we appreciate the service that you do for our county. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for this day. We know this is your day, and Lord God, we just ask that your will would be accomplished. Lord God, we pray for this meeting. We pray for the decisions that will be made. Lord, we pray that you would give each of the commissioners wisdom and guidance, that they would be seeking it from you. And Lord, we pray that, and we acknowledge that you are in control of all things. And Father God, we just pray that the outcome of this meeting would be the praise and the honor and the glory of you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to formally call the meeting to order. We do have minutes. And by the way, before we do that, we need a motion to accept Commissioner Goodson's appearance here telephonically.
I'll make a motion, sir.
I'll second.
All those in favor say yay.
Aye.
Yay.
Yay.
Carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we have the minutes for December 16th, regular meeting, January 29th, budget workshop, February 5th, 2026 zoning meeting, March 5th zoning meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion and a second to approve minutes. Any debate, corrections, deletions? Seeing none, all in favor say yay.
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 Carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we have a number of resolutions. We want to move one up. We'd like to hear E6 first. Commissioner Feltner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And we have Minerva Rogers here today. You're welcome to come up. I'll read the resolution, and then we'll pass it, and then the chair will recognize you to speak. Okay? I have a resolution for Myositis Awareness Month. Whereas residents of Brevard County are among those affected by myositis and other rare diseases, because nearly 1 in 10 Americans have rare diseases, and whereas idiopathic inflammatory myopathies, collectively referred to as myositis, are rare, chronic, autoimmune, muscle-wasting diseases, and myositis often features debilitating muscle inflammation and other symptoms such as pain, fatigue, and trouble swallowing, and myositis can result in myositis-associated interstitial lung disease. And whereas myositis is difficult to diagnose, so treatment is often delayed, and individuals generally experience difficulty finding a healthcare provider with expertise in their condition, and whereas all who suffer with myositis experience reduced quality of life, especially as no cure has been found and life expectancy is shortened, especially for those with inclusion body myositis and women with and people of color with all forms of myositis experience particularly pronounced health disparities. And whereas the Myositis Association is the leading international patient advocacy organization serving the myositis community, focusing on patient services, education, research, and public awareness, so as to achieve a world without myositis, and the Myositis Association is organizing a nationwide observance of Myositis Awareness Month from May 1st to the 31st, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved that the Brevard County Board of County Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 2026 as Myositis Awareness Month in Brevard County, and that all citizens of Brevard County are encouraged to come together, learn more about all forms of myositis and its symptoms, and support the families in our community who will benefit from greater awareness of these rare diseases. Done, ordered, and adopted in regular session this 19th day of May 2026. With that, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and second to approve the resolution. All in favor say yea.
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 Yay.
Carries unanimously. Thank you.
You're invited to speak.
Good morning, Commissioner Fellner, members of the commission, and everyone present. My name is Minerva Rogers. I am a Brevard County resident, a myositis patient, and a proud advocate and volunteer with the Myositis Association, also known as TMA. What is myositis? Myositis is a rare, incurable group of autoimmune diseases causing chronic muscle inflammation, severe pain, chronic fatigue, and mobility issues. Because it is so rare, it is deeply misunderstood, leaving many patients fighting in the dark. I know the fight firsthand. In 2024, I was diagnosed with dermatomyositis and lupus overlap. When I stood before you last year, I was navigating a terrifying period of transition, struggling with rapid hair loss, severe skin rashes, muscle weakness, and a shaken sense of self. But today, I return to you with a heart full of gratitude and significant progress. Thanks to a dedicated medical team, my support system, and vital resources of TMA, my condition is stable. My journey has evolved seeking help to providing help. I now co-lead Adelante, a national TMA support group for Spanish-speaking patients. Furthermore, I recently co-authored a scientific abstract presented at the National Health Council Science for Patient Engagement Summit, and my story on using mindfulness to cope with chronic illness will be published as an article by TMA on May 26. While I'm finding my footing, many of our neighbors are still in the invisible, terrifying stages of this battle. According to the Florida Department of Health, the Rare Disease Advisory Council, 1 in 10 Floridians, or about 2.2 million people, live with a rare disease. They are sitting in our clinics, living in our neighborhoods, and feeling completely unseen. By declaring May 2026 as Myositis Awareness Month in Brevard County, you are helping us reach those who feel dismissed. You are directly supporting TMA's National Proclamation 50 campaign to spark awareness in every corner of our nation. I want to deeply thank Commissioner Fellner, his team, and his entire commission for recognizing the importance of this cause. This proclamation is not just words on paper, it is a lifeline. It is a step toward earlier diagnosis, better treatments, and a stronger, more compassionate community. Today, we send a clear message to every resident fighting an invisible illness. You do not have to fight alone. With awareness comes action, and with action comes hope. I invite you to join us at www.myositis.org and follow the Myositis Association Facebook page, and to stay informed and curious. Thank you so much, and blessings to all.
And we have framed a resolution for you here, okay?
Thank you for being here and bringing awareness to such an important issue. Thank you. Okay, our next resolution is resolution under E1, resolution for Fire Chief Pat Voltaire.
Commissioners, if you will bear with me a moment, I want to say a couple of things before I read my very long resolution. For starters, I want to say, just so we all know, the next new hire group for BCFR is going to have 30 people in it. So that brings us to only 10 short staff of 500 plus. This is light years beyond where we started before this current contract. Thank you. 42 candidates have already started this year. Of the 13 separations that we've had in 2026, nearly half were retirements or involuntary. So people aren't leaving because they want to now. Fantastic. In calendar year 2025, hires versus separations broke even. So far in 2026, there have been 60 personnel gained when accounting for the separations. Between 2025 and 2026, we are averaging a 91.5% new hire retention rate. That's up from 45% in years 21 through 24. So that shows what Chief Voltaire has done. Thank you. I consider myself fortunate to have had the opportunity to work so closely with you. You've gotten me out of a couple of silly things. I appreciate that. At this point, I'm able to consider you a friend, and I admire your dedication to the community and the county that you serve. Of course, you're not going to get forgiven for leaving so soon, because you promised me you wouldn't, but there you go. All the good ones do. Chief Voltaire is the leader of BCFR. You left your mark here. Everybody says so. And I want to take this time to personally thank you for everything that you've done. Sorry. Best of luck. You'll be missed.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to read this whereas that's so long that my chief of staff didn't want me to. She didn't want to type it. It was so long, so I had to get Brian to do it. A resolution on behalf of the Brevard County Board of County Commissioners recognizing and honoring the exceptional service of Fire Chief Patrick Voltaire. Whereas Chief Pat Voltaire began his career as a fire EMT in March of 2000, and whereas since that time he has advanced through the ranks holding positions of fire, EMT, fire medic, lieutenant medic, district chief, assistant chief of fire operations, and fire chief. And whereas Chief Voltaire's service has spanned the entire county, including stations 63, 89, 47, 88, 22, 64, 47, 45, 80, and finally countywide. Whereas in addition to Pat's immense practical experience, he has also attained impressive educational credentials, including a Master's of Public Administration and an Associate of Fire Science, along with graduating from the Brevard County Executive Leadership Institute. Whereas the combination of his education and experience have allowed for outstanding achievements, such as launching the county's first BCFR Marine program, creating the Comprehensive Technical Rescue Team, improving the sponsorship program for more effective hiring and recruitment of local talent, upgrading BCFR from ISO Class 4 to Class 3, and securing auto aid agreements with every municipality in the county. Whereas Chief Voltaire has also led the county's response to over 100 fires and mutual aid incidents in command role, and whereas Pat has been extremely valuable to numerous commissioners as they develop their understanding of BCFR and the role the commission can play in helping the department thrive. Whereas Chief Voltaire has decided to retire in July of 2026, and whereas Pat's intelligence, compassion, humor, institutional knowledge, pragmatism, and leadership will be sorely missed by both BCFR and by the board. Whereas the board agrees with Public Safety Director Matt Wallace in saying that Chief Voltaire lived up to his leadership philosophy of be a good human every day and with every decision that he made. Pat managed to lead a thriving professional life while also keeping his family first, whereas he has always demonstrated an unwavering dedication to his wife, Allie, and never failed to support and be present for his children, Gabrielle and Ryder, in their education, extracurricular activities, personal lives. Whereas excelling personally and professionally is no small feat, and Chief Voltaire's ability to do both clearly shows why he is such an exceptional individual. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Brevard County Board of County Commissioners is thankful for the service of Chief Patrick Voltaire and readily acknowledges that Brevard County is a safer and better place because of his years of diligent and dedicated service. Done, ordered, and adopted in regular session this 19th day of May, 2026. I have to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
And I'll second.
There's a motion for approval of the resolution. All those in favor say yay.
Yay.
Yay. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Chief, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, man. Thank you, guys. It's been a great 6 and 4 years as the fire chief. Not that long ago, it feels like I stood here in front of Commissioner Zonka and, you start as a fireman and you never really expect to be here, but things happen in your life and you go to school and here you stand. And through that time, you learn to be the fire chief and the leader, but I couldn't have gotten here without, like you said, friendship. I consider all you guys friends, and the trust that you've put in me to lead Brevard County Fire Rescue means the world to me. I walked into my first director's meeting, and I got to give thanks to all my friends over here, all the successes that you spoke of for Brevard County Fire Rescue. Every person in this room, every director has had a piece in that. Brevard County Fire Rescue and their success is countywide. It takes all the other directors over here, as much as they, get tired of hearing about fire rescue, they've all lended a hand to help us be successful. The achievements you talked about, none of that would be possible. I was just lucky enough to hold the steering wheel and have the vision, but these guys, holy cow, I didn't realize that many of y'all showed up. Sorry, I looked back there. Now I'll be a little more nervous, but it was their heavy lifting that really saw all those great initiatives through, the Marine program, the ISO, and that's only going to continue to get better as time goes on. So thank you all for everything and your support of fire rescue and of me in this journey as fire chief. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank, my mom and dad for the beginning for helping me go to fire school. I wouldn't have gone to fire school if it wasn't for, their support and help. And then the most thing, probably, if you ask what I look forward to the most, is I've been married to this job as much as I have my family. And the opportunity, the county manager knows that I text him all the time and keep him abreast of things happening in the county. So I've stayed very in tune with, and you guess I call you guys too. Many dinners I've ran away from the house, many Sunday nights. I've been on duty 24/7 for the last 6 years, and my wife has not batted an eye when I run away from a family dinner or a trip or whatever to make sure that Brevard County's safe. So I look forward to giving that time back to my family, and I appreciate and thank their understanding through the last 6 years that I've done that. So thank you to my family. I think they're watching, and thank you to you guys for your support, and thank you to all you guys. Thank you so much.
Okay.
For me. So sorry. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Chief, I just want to say you were here in some of the most challenging times, and you always conduct yourself at the highest level of professionalism and courtesy and level-headedness. So thank you for for your work, and you'll be greatly missed. Okay. Resolution acknowledging National Public Works Week in Brevard County.
All right, I think we got half the room that's going to come up. I think. You're welcome to. Or their representative anyways, Commander Bernadette. Okay. All right, I'm honored again to do resolution recognizing Public Works Association Week. All right, whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association, and whereas this year's theme is Rooted in Service, Powered by Community, and whereas there are growing critical infrastructure needs that are outpacing available resources at the local, state, and federal level, requiring alternative and innovative solutions, and whereas now more than ever, public works professionals are recognized as being first responders and are part of the fabric that ensures the proper functioning and serviceability of our vital infrastructure, facilities, and services that are critical to the public's health, high quality of life, and well-being in Brevard County. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of these public works professionals who, at all levels of government and the private sector, are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Brevard County to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their communities, as well as celebrating their essential role in safeguarding health, safety, and quality of life. And whereas the Brevard County Public Works Department maintains 1,159 miles of paved roads, 80 miles of dirt roads, 714 miles of sidewalk, 909 miles of curb and gutter, 1,058 miles of drainage ditches and swales, more than 20,000 drainage pipes, 48 bridges, over 65,000 signs, 370 traffic signals, 667 streetlights, 200 traffic warning beacons and school zone flashers, and 4.4 million square feet of county buildings. And whereas the Brevard County Solid Waste Management Department handles 4,000 tons of solid waste daily, disposing of 1.2 million tons per year, and diverting more than 1 million tons annually through recycling efforts. And whereas the Brevard County Natural Resources Management Department protects the county's water resources by sweeping more than 6,000 lane miles of curbed streets, maintaining 485 stormwater treatment facilities, overseeing the design, permitting, and construction of 125 capital improvement projects, and 800 active homeowner agreements for pollution reduction, removing 8.5 million pounds of nutrient-rich aquatic vegetation from stormwater ponds, and conducting thousands of inspections annually to safeguard local water quality and ecosystems. And whereas the Brevard County Utility Services Department works to ensure compliance with all federal and state environmental laws while maintaining and upgrading essential water, sewer, and reuse systems for the safety and benefit of current and future residents. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County does hereby designate the week of May 17th to the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week, done, ordered, and adopted in regular session this 19th day of May 2026. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion for approval.
Motion second. Is there any debate? All in favor say yay.
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 Carries unanimously. Thank you.
All right.
Well, good morning, Commissioners. I want to express my sincerest gratitude for the board's support to recognize the 66th Annual National Public Works Week, and in particular, Commissioner Feltner for again sponsoring this recognition. Public Works extends far beyond a single department. Today, I speak on behalf of the county's 5 primary departments, their directors, and nearly 800 employees who help keep our community running safely and efficiently. This year's theme, Rooted in Service, Powered by Community, highlights the strong connection between public works professionals and the communities they serve, providing reliable, essential services for our residents every day. By recognizing National Public Works Week, we acknowledge the dedication, expertise, and hard work of these often unseen professionals and first responders who work tirelessly behind the scenes to support our daily lives and strengthen our community. Again, thank you.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for all the work you do. So many people take for granted. I love the resolution where you listed all the things you do, and you keep the wheels on the bus, and keep public safety and public health, and so many things. But,
I think we should all go down and take a picture with them with the resolution.
Yes,
Okay?
absolutely. Okay. Item E3, resolution acknowledging National Child Care Provider Day here in Brevard County.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the group here, okay, I was going to say Laura Gambino, Alan Bergman, Dee Helbig, Karen Laird, right? And we have our own Linda Graham. Okay. Happy to do this recognition for you this year, too. I have a resolution for Provider Appreciation Day in Brevard County. Whereas National Provider Appreciation Day, also known as National Child Care Provider Day, is celebrated on Friday, May 8th, 2026, and whereas there are 8,000 children under the tutelage and care of these contracted providers represent 30% of the total number of children aged 0 to 5 in Brevard County, and child care providers offer the opportunity for parents who live in Brevard County to work, attend school, or participate in a job training program while their children are in high-quality, nurturing environments. And whereas the daily care, support, and education of these children by home-based public and private providers sets the baseline for a child's success in the future through quality, affordable, and easily accessible educationally based childcare. And whereas there are over 200 childcare programs in Brevard County ranging from small and large private businesses, family child care homes, faith-based programs, and public school settings. And whereas without these providers, thousands of workplace positions in Brevard County would be unfilled by parents and caregivers. The quality child care providers affiliated with the Early Learning Coalition of Brevard County not only educate young minds but support a vibrant workforce and continued job and economic growth across Brevard County. And whereas the Early Learning Coalition of Brevard County will be honoring their more than 200 contracted child care providers during Provider Appreciation Day, and it allows Brevard County to honor its child care educators' commitment to facilitating high-quality care and early learning to our youngest learners. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County does hereby proclaim May 8th, 2026 as National Child Care Provider Appreciation Day, done, ordered, and adopted in regular session 19th day of May 2026. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yay.
Yay.
Carries unanimously. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate, and thank you, Commissioner Feltner, again for the second year in a row. We appreciate the acknowledgement. I stand before really the leaders of our community that do the work, and I would acknowledge our board members, Linda, our board chair, Alan Bergman, as well as Dee Helbig. And Dee is our we have 2 governor-appointed seats on our board, as well as 2 mandated seats as is legislatively drawn. And Dee represents our faith-based and runs a program called First Friends at O'Galley First Baptist Church. And Harriet is our, right, I said it right. And Harriet is our Director of Provider Services as well here at ELC. We have a special guest that we wanted really to bring. I know she told me not to do this because she was going to cry, but we really needed to acknowledge somebody quite special in our community today in acknowledging all of our providers. Karen Laird has run the VPK program for 16 years. I'm going to get choked up. At Holy Name of Jesus in Indian Atlantic. And I have to tell you, both of these 2 providers run a program for our parents and for the children in the community that have made a difference to those 2 and 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds as they enter the K-12 system. And that this is our foundation for our parents and for our children in setting up an educational system here in Brevard County. So I just wanted to take a special thank you to Karen as well for her retirement. We have some special flowers and also pretty flowers, and also just to thank you as well for your support and always believing in the educational system in Brevard County. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay. I'll get a picture.
I think we got a picture as well.
Okay, good morning, gentlemen. Just one point I'd like to add. Not only do we do what we've been doing forever, but we're looking at the future. We're adding basic education in space science and in rocketry and STEM research, so the children have an idea of what the world they're entering will be qualified to attend and take part in, which is just as important. And we've been working on that, and we have something called a Scratch program, which is developed by MIT, but we'll be employing it, and it's just another step in the progression of educating our children. Thank you.
Future rocket scientists.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, photo
Good time.
verifying. Amen. Yeah. You're a star. Come on.
I'm short. I'll go in the front.
Okay, our next item is E4, recognizing Bree Ehmer, the 2025 Division II Conference Commissioners Association Women's Soccer Ron Lenz National Player of the Year. Bree, please step forward. Did I get that right, Ehmer?
Correct.
Well, we're with royalty here today, so we thank you for being here. I want to read this resolution. Whereas Bree Ehmer, a Melbourne native and 2023 graduate of West Shore Senior High School, is a junior forward at Catawba College women's soccer team in Salisbury, North Carolina. And whereas Ehmer was honored as the 2025 Division II Conference Commissioners Association Women's Soccer Ron Lenz National Player of the Year. Emphasize national, the best in the nation. Becoming the first female student athlete to earn a National Player of the Year honor in Catawba athletics history. And whereas Ehmer was also named a first-team All-American at forward, the D2 CCA Southeast Regional Player of the Year and South Atlantic Conference Player of the Year, and finishing her season with 20 goals, including 7 game-winning goals and 6 assists for a total of 46 points. Whereas Ehmer, who was named the team's most valuable player, helped lead the Catawba, got that right? Catawba Indians to the undefeated regular season, sweeping the SAC regular season and conference tournament titles en route to the first top seed in the NCAA Southeast Regional in program history. Whereas Ehmer also excelled in the classroom, earning a perfect 4.0 cumulative grade point average through the spring of 2025 semester in sports medicine, resulting in her being named the 2025 South Atlantic Conference Women's Soccer Scholar Athlete of the Year and Catawba, am I saying that right? Catawba. I didn't think I had it right. The Catawba Whitley Award winner for the most outstanding senior in sports and health sciences. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, does hereby recognize Bree Ehmer for her outstanding achievements, both on and off the field. Done and ordered and adopted this regular session 19th day of May. And a motion would be in order.
I'll make the motion, sir.
I'll second.
Motion and second. All in favor say yay.
Yay.
Carries unanimous. Thank you. We'd love for you to say a few words.
Well, firstly, thank you guys for presenting me with this. It's truly an honor to receive something like this. Also, just a shout out to all my coaches, teammates, trainers, and my family up there. Because without them, I wouldn't be here, especially my parents. It's glad to see that, your gas money was well spent. And lastly, just thank you to Brevard County for supporting local sports programs, because dreams like this can come true. Thank you.
Well, I tell you, just graduating from West Shore in and of itself is a huge achievement. What an amazing place. So it's great to have you here, and congratulations. We're very proud of you, and you've represented the Space Coast extremely well, and just wish you the best in your future endeavors. We'll get a quick picture. I'd like to ask all the commissioners to come down. Okay, and she's got another year, so. Okay, our next resolution, E5, resolution recognizing Florida Tech for earning the military-friendly schools designation. So this is a great honor, being a former Florida Tech student myself, my favorite university and our homegrown school. Whereas Florida Tech has earned the military-friendly schools designation for 26-27 for the 7th consecutive year, 7 years running, and also received the program's military spouse-friendly school designation. And whereas institutions that earn the military-friendly designation invest in active military, veterans, transitioning service members, and military spouses by building sustainable pathways for academic success and exceeding thresholds for student recruitment, retention, academic progress, graduation rates, career placement, and support services. And whereas As of fall 2025, nearly 12% of all Florida Tech students enrolled were veterans, active duty, National Guard Reserve, veteran dependents, or veteran spouses. And whereas the Florida Tech's Military and Veteran Student Services provides accessible guidance to key programs the university is engaged with, including the GI Bill, Military Spouse Career Advancements Accounts, Wisdom Warrior Program, and for online education, and the Yellow Ribbon Program. And whereas Florida Tech, as the Space Coast STEM university, remains committed to empowering those who have served this country with an education that strengthens the next chapters of their careers. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, does recognize Florida Tech for its ongoing innovative efforts to educate men and women who have valiantly served our country, done, ordered, and adopted this 19th day of May 2026. A motion be in order.
I'll second.
Motion second. Those in favor signify by saying yea.
Yea.
Yea. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Altman. Thank you, Commissioners. On behalf of President Niccolo, thank you very much for this recognition of Florida Tech's continuing pursuit of excellence for our students, our faculty, and our staff. From the United States Navy at Port Canaveral, where we do a lot of research on a long-time basis, to the U.S. Space Force with our continuing graduate programs physically on site at Patrick Space Force Base, to the U.S. Army with our unique partnership with ROTC. Florida Tech strives for excellence in our partnerships supporting our military and our country. With that, if it'll please the Chair, allow me to introduce my friend and colleague, Colonel Stillings. He's a professor of military science at Florida Tech and an inspirational ROTC leader who has dedicated his career to educating future Army leaders, if that's all right. Colonel?
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to speak here. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Rob Stillings, the Professor of Military Science at Florida Tech, also a proud Brevard County resident, and I'm proud to have been able to serve inside this community. In addition to all of the work that Florida Tech does for our veterans, which I'm honored to be a part of, they also train future leaders within the Army. So this May, I had the privilege and the honor to commission 7 new commissionees. Those commissionees came from a cohort that was the number 5 cohort in the entire country out of 279 schools. So in addition to the work for veterans, the work for future leaders that Florida Tech is doing is really raising the bar. About half of those graduates who commissioned into the U.S. Army are Brevard County high school graduates, which is awesome to see them do that. And along with the veteran support which we receive, we could not do the things that we accomplished without the leadership and the support of the university and President Niccolo. So it's very well deserved, and thank you.
Thank you.
Colonel, that this ROTC program, I don't know how many times, I know in the past, is ranked #1 in the nation. That's pretty good, yeah. #1 in the nation. So we're very proud of you and honored to have you here.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay, what a great honor. I've really enjoyed those resolutions. A lot of good things happening here in Brevard County on the Space Coast. Okay, we now have the consent agenda, and we do have a number of things that we do have quite a few cards. And we do have some items to remove. Commissioner Atkins, I think you have one.
Yes, please, F7.
F7. Okay, I'd like to remove F8. Commissioner, you have any items? Okay. F1. I'd like to remove F1. Then F3. F4. F8. F9. F10. F12. F14, that may be a record. So, well, these are cards that have asked to be heard, so I think we'll remove them and hear them. And why don't we go ahead and take a vote on the rest of the remaining consent items, or do you want to hear and then do it at the end?
However you want to do it.
All right, let's go ahead and pass the consent with the exception of F1, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 14, and 12.
And 7, because we're pulling 7.
And 7. Okay. Motion be in order.
So moved?
So motion and second to approve the consent agenda with the exception of F1, 3, 4, 8, 9, 7, 10, 14, and 12. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, let's, we have a speaker card on F1. Rick Hellfinger. Heffelfinger. Heffel.
Rick Heffelfinger, District 1. All right, F1. I'm sorry, I apologize for all the cards, but I feel compelled to represent District 1 with our lack of a commissioner. First one, F1. I think there might be a math problem, but I'm not sure. It says that there's $890,000 from the Department of Commerce grant that's matched by the Merritt Island Development Agency for $600 and a site lease revenue for $40. And if I do my math, I come up to $640,000. But it says that the total cost is $890, although it does say down in the requested action that I think Brevard County picks up in excess of $200 to accomplish the work. But if I add 200 to 640, I only get 840. So should that list 300?
Does the staff want to answer that question? Or maybe we can move on to the next item and let them check that math just to be sure.
Okay, well, I didn't,
All right, let's go to the next item, F3.
F3, let's see what we've got here. Let me catch up on my agenda. F3, let's see, that's a District 1. And I have another question. I know this is not question and answer period. I've been told that in the past. But Chairman Altman, you've been generous about trying to get questions answered, so I appreciate that. And I'll push that as far as I can. I guess my question is, were any impact fees waived for this project? Or is it too early since this is just approving the site map or the plan? Because we have I have a certain issue with impact fees, as you know.
I don't know. We'll have staff answer that question, and they'll get the get the answer, and we'll move on so they can answer both those.
And I had another one on that one too. That there was a attachment, and I'm not sure which one it was. Subdivision infrastructure contract. It said the principal agrees to impose description below, and then there is no description below. And I was wondering if something's missing.
All right,
because I don't know what work that is that the county would mandate that they do.
We'll have them work on those two items. That way we can, F4, and I'll ask you to just sit down here on the front row. I don't know if she has anything, but Kim Rozenka, I saw her here earlier.
No?
Hey, we'll just let you sit in the front row while they're getting that information.
Oh, she's going to come up, she's pulled the card, okay.
Yeah, F4.
Not yet? You want to go? She's going to go.
Well, we'll let you go first.
Who?
You.
Oh, outstanding.
You're already up there.
Well, I'm all prepped and I got my stuff laid out. F4, Again, this is another impact fees, but I think I understand the impact fee waiving on this one. This is considered a low-cost housing development, 55 and over, nobody under the age of 18. Sounds like a good reason you would waive the impact fees for the schools. So I got no problem with that one, right? Because I don't think anybody, well, I don't know, nobody's going to the school system. They're going to university if you're inactive at 55. But under 18, I wouldn't imagine, well, I don't, yeah, they'd be going to school, but 18 over wouldn't be. So that one's fine. I guess I also have a question about, it talks about the different levels of low income, and I'm not quite sure, I mean, I could just get this at some later date, but the percentages, and I remember last meeting maybe, that we had a presentation about the level of average income in our area, and it was really high. So is that the number they're using to determine low income housing? Because that would mean that number's pretty high if we're factoring all those people that work out at the Cape and work in the Space Center and work at, the high-paying jobs. And we keep getting more of them, so I guess this number keeps going up. That's terrible for the people who are on a fixed income. But waiving that impact fee, I like the way the language works. I'm learning about all this stuff. The fact that you're going to hold them accountable, that if anybody sells that property, there's a lien on that property. I like that. So this is the first time I've actually had an opportunity to look at one of these. So I like that. But again, that issue about what the income level used to determine the price of those units is a little bit boggling to me. I think that's all I had on F4. So I guess she's next.
Yes, Kim Rosenko.
Morning, Chairman, members of County Commission. I represent HTG, the developer for this project. HTG is a affordable housing developer. This is 55 up. The school board has agreed to the waiver of impact fee for schools. And as to the question requested, actually in the impact fee deferral agreement, it says on page 2, project has 80 residential units, 8 will be reserved for occupants with a gross annual income that does not exceed 40% of the area median, and the rest are for those that do not exceed 60% of area median income. So this is a true affordable housing supported by the Florida Finance Council up in Tallahassee. We would ask that you approve these at this time.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Now, those are typically set forth in statute, aren't they?
Well, the statute says low income is can be up to 120% of area median income. This
Okay.
is a true affordable at 40 and 60%.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, all right. Why don't we backtrack to F1 and 3? I'm sure staff has those answers.
Good morning, Commissioners. So in F1, the agenda is for the board to receive a grant of $890,000 from the Florida Department of Commerce. There will be a match from the Merritt Island Redevelopment District of $600,000, plus there's a lease site of $40,000, which brings the total to $1,530,000. The $200,000 that Mr. Hyperfinger was talking about was to allow the county manager's office to approve any budget changes over that amount.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions from the board? Okay, F3, we'll get those answers if they have them ready.
F3 is for final plat and contract approval. It has no relationship to impact fees whatsoever. There's no waiver and deferral of impact fees associated with the request. I'm not aware of any impact fee deferrals or waivers in the development in general, but I can look into it and get back with you. But certainly the board's action has no relationship whatsoever to impact fees.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, let's move on then. And by the way, that's a great shirt. We need to brighten something. F8, Rick Heffelfinger.
All right, again, Rick Heffelfinger, District 1. Whenever we play around with pay raises, that's not a one-time event, right? So we've thrown some money at a pay raise from the Tourist Capital Facilities Fund. And what's going to happen, I guess my question is, what happens in after 25, 26? Those guys have gotten a pay raise, so that's going to be a reoccurring cost. And I was wondering if anybody actually tried to, what that would do to the cost of that funding effort in the future, because we know it's going up by, what, 25 grand to help pay those guys. I'm not sure how many employees that is and how much the raise is, but that 25 is going to be reoccurring every year after that with the lifeguard guys. So I was just wondering if anybody had done that math. And that was pretty much the question I had on that one.
I'll attempt to answer that on behalf of the TDC. So fire rescue has already decided to give the lifeguards a raise as a means for us to stay competitive, because we're competing with area schools to hire, or area pools, excuse me, to hire the lifeguards for the summer. What I did at the TDC was to ask for the $25,000 to help shore that up for this summer. But going forward, I don't envision a time where we're going to be paying lifeguards less, and so that's something that fire rescue will build in the budget in the future. I would imagine that tourism tax will continue to contribute toward the lifeguard cost.
And that should go up. Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Oh, no, you can't do that. No, go ahead.
Are you upset that we gave our lifeguards a raise?
No, I think, well, I don't have the history of it. I don't know what they're currently making. I don't know how much they got. I don't know what 25 does. The 25K does go toward that salary, right? That's not something, is that a reserve that they could get a bump later?
So, yes, what we did, so you know, we've had some serious deaths on our beaches.
Yes.
And we're understaffed tremendously. I also pulled this item because I wanted to thank staff for the incredible work they've done. They were able to look at reserves and funds and provide for an increase in pay. And it's really enabled us to fill a serious backlog that we have. And it's going to save lives. So I think it's good that we did this. And to answer your question, yes, these pay raises will not go away. And what was the pay scale? We went from one. I think that was part of the question. It was a good question.
Okay.
The lifeguards are being paid about $16 an hour. We went up to $21 an hour.
And you've gotten tremendous response.
Yes, and we've already, I'm getting the thumbs up from the guys in the back. Says we're already getting positive response of recruiting from it.
Tough to fill those positions, and it's a very, very difficult job. And I was reading the requirements, too, to be a lifeguard. This is serious. And many of them are EMTs. So I think it's good, and I hope we continue to pay our lifeguards a wage that's affordable and we get the best and brightest, because beach safety is so important. And I want to thank Commissioner Feltner for what he did on the TDC. I think we have some real challenges out there. And this is not, I mean, we probably have a lot more we need to do. And I think I think we need to get everybody pulling in the same directions, and we need a diverse and broad form of funding, because the beaches, we have more beach than any other county in the state. And so the economic impact, too, of tourist dollars, if we start seeing a lot of deaths. One year, I think we had 9, just a year. Fortunately, our lifeguards have been really incredible in preventing deaths, and so this will help them. I'm excited about this. I want to commend staff.
Okay. Well, just add a little note. I went to the mayor's breakfast, and I enjoyed Sheriff Ivey's speech, but there were a couple of comments made taking shots at this dais about not funding certain beaches. And I don't know where we are on that. Do you anticipate any more TDC funding some of those beaches that had cried about not having enough, the cities that, because I'm not sure exactly which beaches the lifeguards are currently on that Brevard County through the TDC.
I think we're going to have a lot of discussion about that.
Okay.
I can't predict what happened, but as we go through the budget process, I'm hopeful that we can continue to look at making our beaches safer.
Okay.
I have to say that it's amazing that our staff and our lifeguards have done as good a job as they have with the resources that we've given them, and I hope we can continue to give them more.
Are all those lifeguards fire rescue types, or do you take college kids and part-time them, or?
Could I say real quick that we rely pretty heavily on high school students when they're out of school to cover the summer. So, in fact, we celebrated, were they two 16-year-old students, I think, at your fire rescue awards just a few weeks ago.
Okay. So they go through a course offered by fire rescue to certify them for that?
Yes, I'm getting the nods from the back there.
Thanks. I think that one answered that one.
Okay.
Do I stay here?
You might as well, unless you're trying to get more steps in.
Well,
yeah. But you might be getting a lot of steps in.
I don't have a pedometer on, so I can't get paid, so I guess I don't want to do that.
F9?
F9, let's see. Follow grant. I think I had tagged this one for salary adjustment, has long-term effects as well. All right, this is, what exactly is this one? Okay, they did the 26. Did I have a problem with, no. One of the things that I did want to kind of bounce off of this one was that I think we had a county commissioner that used to work here, and she was advocating for some transparency or additional transparency on the agenda. And no, this ain't one of them. Well, the money's not there, but I think the title's good. I got a comment on the next one about the title. Well, the total fiscal impact was not listed under the fiscal impact. And it could have been done there. In other words, I had to read through to get, the total was $322,156. And that was not totaled up. I mean, that's a nitpick really, right? But it wasn't totaled up in the fiscal impact for 2026. So that was just, I was just trying to bring that back up, that it would be nice if the agenda had those numbers on it too. Because when I see big numbers, I like to zero in. So that just helps me to figure that where I want to go. And that's all I had on F9.
Okay. And F12?
I had 10 too, right?
Yes. Oh, I missed 10. Okay, yes, let's do F10.
Or F10. I'll make the same comment. This says approval RE budget amendment. And it doesn't say what it's for. And it would be nice to say approval RE budget amendment to mosquito control operations resources. And you could actually pull the fiscal impact for the text of that statement, because it says that we are going to have to draw on the mosquito control operational reserves for $375 for additional pesticide chemicals. One question is, how big is the reserve for mosquito control? I guess you could say how much is it before and how much is it after the pull? Just to kind of an idea, I mean, every department I assume has a reserve, right? I mean, the county has a reserve too.
Well, we'll have that number. We'll move on. And I'm going to bounce down to F14 since you're already standing here. We got a speaker's card. Well, you got F12 too.
I got 12 too.
Okay. All right. While they're getting that number, we'll go to F12.
F12 is about the funding for the guys that the Economic Development Commission. Didn't they do a pitch about, when I mentioned about the cost of the average salary and whether or not incentives were good because we had a high level of salary, so we're a good target for incentivizing when we hire good paying jobs. I just had one question that I ran their little numbers here, that in the 6-month period that they reported, October 1 through March 31, they spent all their money. They spent $697,430, and they were advocated Brevard County grant of $700. Are they going to need to do another poll of asking you guys to fund them for the rest of the year, or was that their entire billing period? Or are they just going to ride it out and these are salaries and stuff that are already covered for the year? I wasn't sure if they're out of money or if this is a total allocation for a whole year and they just burned through it in 6 months.
Well, let's back up. I think we were getting an answer on F10. We have another card in F12. We'll hear that, and then we'll get the answer.
So, yeah, the question was, what was the amount of reserves in mosquito control, and that amount is currently $737,524.
Good. Okay. All right. We have another card on F12. They can work on that question you had, but let's hear the other card too.
On 12?
Yeah, Sandra Sullivan.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to get all jumbled.
Good morning, Sandra Sullivan from Waves Action. Yeah, so we're paying currently EDC $1.4 million, and that's expected to go up a little bit. We were about 700 and something, so I just wanted to mention that Commissioner Atkinson had in her list a discussion of whether that should be cut. And I was just going to say I'm a little disappointed by the performance of what they are delivering. They're a private organization funded by special interests, and you're looking at busting the cap and raising our taxes. And I think it's appropriate to look at cutting costs. This is certainly one. So this is their financial statements. You doubled the amount that they got. In addition, they got $1.81 million towards a study for the regional sewage plant. And there's concerns about that. There's concerns with seemingly the original location, which was at Tyco, according to the Black and Beach study, the first study that they did, that they didn't consider that airports have rules that you, within 1.19 miles, you cannot have a sewage treatment plant because it's a bird attractant. And yet that was the plan to where to put it. And then, you know, interestingly enough, when FAA came back and said, no, can't do this, that, you know, Brightline sold that $38 million piece of property for like $6 million. So I don't think they're doing a good job, and I think that it should be cut back to what it was, which is half. That's my two cents on it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Do we have another question? Is that it? We'd have F14, but did we get that F12 answer? I don't know. Your question?
I'm sorry, I'll just jump in. On
Okay.
F14, EDC gets a grant. Ms. Sullivan mentioned it's $1.4 million a year.
Okay. All right, good. All right.
So, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. They get a grant from the Board of County Commissioners for
Right.
$1.4 million a year.
Okay, F14. That's Rick Heffelfinger.
All right, F14. That's Jill over there, right? Jill Hayes?
Yes.
Okay. I thought Jill Hayes was the budget director. That not true?
She's the assistant county manager.
Did she move?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We gave
her
congratulations,
a well-deserved promotion.
Okay. I missed that. Mr. Nieder has a very good resume. I like to see, like I saw that happened that I was a little disturbed about one time when we seemed to, I guess you guys for continuance and for rewarding people that have been here, you progress, you hire from within. I don't have a real big problem with that. Well, I did have a problem with that. But this guy must be a sharpshooter. He managed to get himself all the way up to the manager in just 9 years. So he's done well. He must be really good. Look forward to good things from him. And I guess we've got a challenging budget coming up too. So I hope he's up to the task, and that ought to be interesting to see. And that's all I had on that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that, because I know I had an opportunity to work with Mr. Nieder, and he is incredibly qualified and really excited about his role. Got some big shoes to fill. I'm happy we still have Jill with us, so we're really well equipped to tackle this upcoming budget process, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you throughout that process as well.
Oh, I think you will.
Good.
And Jill, don't forget, if he taps you for information, charge him overtime.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, let's go ahead and I have a motion on all those items that we had removed. Do I need to repeat those? F1, F3, F4, F8, F9, F10, 12, and 14. A motion.
Well, we move to approve these and then discuss 7?
We haven't heard 7, huh? All right, let's approve these, and we'll go back to 7. Okay, all in favor of the motion? Oh, is there a motion?
Move to approve the ones you just described.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say yay.
Aye.
Yay. Carries unanimously. Thank you. Let's back up to F7. Tourist Development Council Marketing Support Program funding.
Morning, Commissioners.
I'm the one that pulled that, and I was
Yes.
hoping that Peter could go over it with us.
Sure. Good morning. So yeah, marketing support program grants are similar to what we've had the last 2 years. They're cultural and sports grants. This request is to approve the budget for $740,000, of which $120,000 is allocated to the 5 commissioner districts. So there's $20,000 each district that they can use for their purposes if they would like. It's not a requirement, but they can. In the last couple of years, I think 4 out of the 5 commissioners have done that. And then there's also some changes to the criteria, some strengthening of the wording in the criteria relative to what is allowable, and also some clawback language now that we have in there. So that's the gist of it, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
I do have one question, if I may. Were there any applicants who were qualified who aren't going to be receiving their funds?
So this is for next fiscal year. For this
Right.
fiscal year, all applicants who did qualify were going to receive funds, except for there's one event that isn't occurring on the sports side.
Okay.
So they won't be getting their funding, obviously. And that's provided for in the criteria. If an event doesn't happen for some reason, obviously, then there's no ability for them to get reimbursement.
Okay. So there's no event that qualified that our $100,000 that the commissioners are getting to distribute is taking away from?
Not that I'm aware of, no, ma'am.
Okay. So my issue is that I brought this up last year because each commissioner district is getting $20,000 to award to events that didn't meet the minimum qualification. So last year I gave my districts $20,000 back.
Yes, ma'am.
And now we have $25,000 to give to lifeguards, which is handy. I had an issue partly because my understanding is that the TDC didn't even discuss my concerns last year. Is that also true? You guys didn't have an opportunity to discuss them?
We went through the full criteria. I don't believe there was any real discussion on that particular issue, but
Right.
but it was brought up. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If the TDC last year found $100,000 to allow commissioners to distribute, and they did again this year, does that mean that we can do it every year and all of a sudden it becomes recurring funds, and we could give that $100,000 a year to lifeguards? I know that's a future question, but that's my issue with this.
You know, could I say something? I've only tried to, first of all, it's not the commissioners who appropriate the money. The Board of County Commissioners votes on it. We have only sought to get input from each of the commissioners because historically, over many, many years, there were commissioners who said, hey, I think that in my area, this thing isn't being supported, and I think it's good. So I'll tell you what we could do today, possibly to satisfy things. We could eliminate the whole $100,000 towards the small grants that don't meet those criterias for all the various things that were funded last year, and we could put all the lifeguards. And I would make that motion today if that's
I
what
would
you'd like.
support that.
All right. Is that your motion?
That is my motion.
Okay, fine.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? I just want to address a couple of the things that were brought up. the minimum criteria. These organizations, in my mind, were even more capable than even some of the items that was funded. These were wonderful programs that provided a lot of resources to our community, and many of them were significantly financially strapped. I think they were good programs. I think that the minimum criteria was somewhat of a loophole because it's a broad-based set of criteria, and some of them may apply or some of them not. And so I don't think it was a misuse of public funds. Secondly, I think it is very helpful that the people that are elected, people that the public votes for, that are vetted more than any other group, has a voice, and they know what's the need in their local communities. By the way, this money just didn't go to local communities. I know I recommended a program that wasn't not even in my district, but it was so important, so critical, and they're so strapped that I felt it was appropriate that I just didn't look at the district. So I just want to point out that this having our involvement was very healthy and very, very good. I think that going to lifeguards is not bad, although that $100,000 is not going to solve the lifeguard problem. And there are other things, other funding sources that we must look at beyond the TDC. I don't think you can expect that to fully fund that. I think that that we should have a broad-based level of participation, and it should be specifically related on how we provide those services and who benefits. I think everyone needs to have a little skin in the game, and it doesn't solve the problem that that we are going to need to solve. And this appropriation, as small as it was, did solve some significant problems for some of the smaller organizations.
And I'll say one thing, if I could, Mr. Chair. The $25,000 that I asked for in the last TDC meeting, that was an unplanned thing, but we were in that moment trying to do a raise for the lifeguards because we're competing with area pools. And so the $25,000 that the TDC appropriated for that, is on the agenda today, we took from the capital fund. And we did that because we agreed as a council that we weren't going to spend money on capital this year because we had less than $1 million, so somewhere in the $900,000 range, and so we wanted to wait until that was sort of replenished. So from those funds is what we took the $25,000 from to help shore up the lifeguards this year. Just
thank you.
Does that sound right, Peter?
Yes, sir. And I was going to ask for clarification on this $100,000. It does come from the cultural budget, so if that's the budget where you want to move dollars to lifeguards, that would be great if it was part of the motion.
I'll amend the motion to take the $100,000 from the cultural fund to fund lifeguards.
I'll second the amendment.
Now, are we able to do that? Are those funds specifically designated for that area? And do we have the legal ability to do that? Because I know it's a formula that was passed by the public and it's provided for in statute.
Under state law, we can. We'll have to take a look at the budget ordinance, our local one, to see if that needs to be amended or adjusted.
Yeah, that's the part of the budget where it says up to, and so those funds could move to marketing and then from there be directed to lifeguards.
They just won't go directly from cultural. They'll pass through to another fund. Where
Right. So we'll look at it. If there's a problem, we can address that. Is there any other debate on the motion? All those in favor say yay.
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 Motion passes. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Then we need the motion with the requested action minus the $100,000 for the marketing support program. What I heard, you took $100,000 out of that for lifeguards. Now we need approval, if you so choose to approve the marketing support program.
Okay, so for the rest, any other questions on the TDC?
Nope.
Yep.
Okay.
Should I make a motion for the rest of the TDC marketing program? Okay, I'll make a motion for the rest of the TDC marketing program.
And I'll second that.
Thank you.
And how much is that?
$640,000.
Okay. Okay, quick question. Did we need a specific motion on the 100,000 too? Is that what you were saying?
No, you made the motion.
We did
for the
that. We're
100,000.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any discussion on the motion? And second? All those in favor say yea.
Yea.
Yea. Carries unanimously. Thank you. Now, do we need a motion on that item since it was on the consent? Did we do that? We're fine. Okay, good. Okay, now we will proceed to public comments. Do we have any public comment cards? All right. Jackie McPhillips. And the next speaker will be Dr. Lance Armstrong.
Good morning. Jackie McPhillips, and for many years I've been an affordable housing developer. Currently, for the last several years, I represent nonprofit organizations that are developing affordable both rental housing and subdivisions to first-time home ownership. And what I passed out to you is and you're probably aware of this, but there's some new laws coming down the pike that our Florida legislature did. One was House Bill 399, the other Senate Bill 594, one of which really has to do with changes in every local government's LHAPs as far as allowing factory-built homes are now going to be allowed as of January 1, 2027, and other extended areas, residential developments. The other law primarily deals with SHIP funds, and currently Florida Housing had a 20% cap on the amount that any local government could give of their SHIP on manufactured homes. So it will deal with that. It's repealing that. So local government could give any amount that they want. We're seeing a lot of things coming down the pike having now to do with factory-made housing for affordable housing because of the sheer cost of land escalating, the construction costs escalating, and it's getting more and more difficult to develop true affordable housing with income limits and so forth. So I think our state government is trying the best they can to come up with some new provisions that will open up or help create more affordable housing, both for rental and especially for first-time home ownership. There is going to be, I believe it's the coalition on June 23rd, will be hosting a webinar that I think all local governments, counties as well as cities, will be listening into, because it's going to be basically a tutorial explaining the law, how it affects local government and the citizens and so forth. And I'm sure the Department of Housing and Human Services will be on that call as well. One of the items which has to do with SHIP is why I'm here today. As I understand it, after discussions with Nicole Tenpenny, who, as I'm sure you all know, is the director of the not-for-profit that works with all eligible applicants for SHIP, qualifying them and so forth. Right now, if I understand, oops, I think I passed it. Okay, thank you. They're serving less than about half of what they used to, just because of the higher cost. She's very much in favor, and the request is to please reconsider allowing SHIP dollars to be used on manufactured homes no differently than site-built homes. That will allow many more families to be served with your SHIP.
Okay. Thank you. That's good input. Any questions? I'm sure this will be something we'll look at in the future. Thank you.
One last thing, if I may. We've been invited to go to one of two factories that are built here in Florida for manufactured by executives of the Florida Manufactured Home. The Florida Housing Coalition introduced me to them. They've offered graciously to do a private tour I will be bringing not-for-profit organizations myself. I'm going to reach out to your staff to see if maybe some of them would like to become more educated on today's manufactured, and if any of our commissioners would like to attend.
That'd be great. And it's my understanding, we're not just talking about mobile homes. Some of these manufactured homes look like a beautiful home.
Trying to get educated now
Yeah.
more on the whole subject. Actually stopped being built in 1976, 50 years ago. They were more mobile. They kept the wheels on. Manufactured primarily are now being permanently affixed. They're made much, much better, a much higher quality, supposedly very similar to frame site-built for wind and every other factor, energy efficiency. That's why I want to do the tour.
Excellent.
Florida Housing did the tour, and now they're going to have a pilot program because they were so impressed for a community of first-time home buyers with manufactured housing.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing this
Thank you.
to our attention. Okay, Dr. Lance Armstrong.
Hello, County Commissioners. I'm accompanied by Amanda Hernkine. We are representing Rolling Thunder, Florida, Chapter 1.
You might want to pull that up. You're a little bit taller than the last. We need a longer mic, I think. Yeah. Okay. I think we need to turn it 90 degrees. Will it fit? Here, we'll get the staff to help you out there. And then we can slide it up as he talks. Okay, good. All right, we won't use that against your time. Okay. Let me reset that.
Rolling Thunder is a Florida Chapter 1. Is the largest chapter in Florida, the third largest in the nation, of a nationwide organization that's simply an advocacy group. We're not a motorcycle club. We are searching for our missing troops like my cousin, a pilot who took off in World War II. Our organization has done a lot to help the U.S. DoD restructure under one roof in Hickam, where many of the remains found are brought for proper identification, preparation for burial, and return to family soil. Our organization in this area has led the nation in posting that POW flag under the American flag in all 84 schools. We are posting the statement that we want our missing returned. There's almost 80,000 plus since World War I. Of that number, we believe approximately 27,000 can be found. Annually, we would go to Washington, D.C. for 32 years. And in 2019, when 1.7 million motorcycles showed up, the FBI organized a little statement to us that said, don't do this again. Please make it state-run. We've played by that rule for 5 years, and I've been asked to run it 2 of the 5 years, in 2021 and 2023. It's also been in Daytona, Port Charlotte, and Punta Gorda. I screwed it up so bad, they've locked it on us here for the next 5 years. So I'll be coming back to you over year after year. But this is our big first year, and I want to thank this county and its commission for letting us use the brand new $8.2 million amphitheater for one of the 3 major events we have going on this weekend. Like in Washington on Friday night, Gold Star family members would carry a beautiful flame of freedom in front of the Vietnam Wall. About 30,000 of us would go there, not one speaking. We've upped the quality of that night by having Texas Roadhouse complimentarily feeding Gold Star family a dinner. These folks will come together, meet, break bread, and heal. And then we will ride in from Fish Lips and Sandbar, where we're doing our ride registration, and escort them after dark about 8:30 on that walk. If we have patriotic people in Brevard County that wish to support our Gold Star family, please consider being at the Brevard Veterans Memorial Center Friday night at about 8 o'clock. Saturday is our festival, and that's where we have some great music, vendors, and we hope the public comes and enjoys the music there at the Veterans Memorial Center. And then Sunday is our Ride for Freedom. We are riding down State Road 3 from the Veterans Memorial Center, just like last week's Law Ride. But we're going to turn left and go across Pineda Causeway to A1A and up through Cocoa Beach. Cocoa Beach PD will escort us. Every sheriff in every location has supported this, but Sheriff Ivey says he cannot. He'll help us get on State Road 3 with a couple of deputies, but I just want the folks who reside on State Road 3, south of 520, to know that we're coming down that route Sunday at about 11 o'clock. We're leaving the VMC. And so please consider coming out front, waving an American flag, supporting our organization in that manner. And as we come up through Cocoa Beach, we hope the same will occur again as it has those 2 years. We hope, though, that the public knows that this is a center for the state of Florida. This is a Florida event, but we're not playing by that rule this year. That's the Texas emblem, and they're talking to Mississippi. Both North and South Carolina chapters are considering, and Georgia is coming. And so this might be turning into the Southeast United States Memorial Day weekend Rolling Thunder Ride for Freedom event. And I hope the county will be aware of that for the next 4 or 5 years. Thank you for your support. And if I may ask, we're considering it's about a 20-foot wide median on Sykes Creek. And we would like just a little sign there that's lit that says Rolling Thunder event this direction. And we hope that's allowed.
Okay, we have, by the way, just for those listening or here, the Gold Star family is a family who's lost a loved one in the service of their country. And they've
Correct,
paid
sir.
the ultimate sacrifice, and we certainly appreciate them. We can't do enough for them, and I thank you for that.
Quite
Can I ask
welcome.
Doc now, do you have the sign? You're asking if you can put it out there, or
That's
you
right.
ask?
It's waiting to be rented.
It's waiting. So
It's just a little trailer sign that says event this way type thing. We can't borrow them from the county, you know, but.
It's an electronic message board sign?
No, it's just a lit sign, Rolling Thunder event this way. And it's
would a
nowhere
motion be
near in the
appropriate to
blocking of
allow
it.
them temporarily to do that?
Because, yeah, I have no idea what a sign ordinance might be, so yeah.
Okay, so an exemption from the sign ordinance for this event, is that?
I can guarantee you it would not block any sort of public view, roadway, anything like that. It's just, I still today mention Brevard Veterans Memorial Center to many of my patients, and they go, where's that?
I think Tad's got
It
something
sounds
for
like
us.
the sign's going to be placed in the right-of-way, so if he wants to work with Mark Bernath's group, we can get him the appropriate permits to have that happen.
It's back from the intersection on the median.
Do we need a motion?
Do we need any kind of motion to allow them to do that for this event?
Yes.
I'll make that motion then to.
And waive
for that-
the fees if
and-
necessary.
And waive any necessary fees so they can have the sign temporarily for the event. Okay, my motion?
Motion to allow for the sign, waive the fees. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, all in favor say yay.
Yay.
Carries unanimously.
Okay.
On that note, thank you also. I understand there may be a fee for using the amphitheater next year, and we thank you for waiving that for our organization this year.
Thank you for what you do.
We'll put this in the back if anyone wants to shoot a picture or something.
Please. And see you Friday morning.
Thank you, yes, thank you. Okay, next item, G3, Dana Blinkley, is she here? Yep, over there.
You almost got that last name right, Commissioner. So you almost got that last name right. Thank you for listening to me today to talk to you about facilities, which I know you guys know that we're having some serious woes in the facilities that most of the constitutional officers reside in. So I want to specifically talk about the Titusville facility at 400 South Street. That building was constructed, matter of fact, the first time I occupied that building, it was 18 years old, and I was 18 years old. It was in 1986. It is classified as a Class A or Class B commercial building with an economic life of about 60 years. Now, that's based on Marshall and Swift, which is the gold standard for valuation or cost estimates for both residential and commercial construction. So, the last 10 years have been the most challenging, and we are now at a place where we're pretty much well dire straits. Commissioner Altman, you just happened to be there on a day where we took on hundreds of gallons of black water waste coming from some cast iron waste pipes that gave way on the 6th floor, and that ended up in my lobby of the 5th floor. So let me say this. In the time that I have been property appraiser, I have never worked with a county manager that has been so supportive and communicative about any issues related to anything, but certainly facilities. So we are thankful for Jim's support and for facilities support. They are trying to make lemonade out of kumquats, and it's just impossible. So unfortunately, I did not get my videos to you guys in time, but I do have. See if I can get this right. That is one piece of the latest breach that we had of galvanized waste pipe that burst on the 6th floor. So all of that, about 20 foot of pipe, was removed. This is one piece of it. And that is basically what the piping, the fluid mechanics of that building look like throughout. Now, I'm not saying that every pipe looks like that, but every pipe has the same age. The result of that was several gallons of waste, black water, that ended up in our lobby. Of course, we had to shut down operations. The tax collector and the property appraiser's office have had to shut down operations for a total of 6 days, either due to the temperature in the building being in the 80s, high 80s, where we cannot work or service customers, and of course water intrusion. You guys have been very cooperative. We are moving our servers that are in a space located on the floor below that one that also had a flood. Thank goodness it was in one half of the server room that doesn't have the server rack. So you guys are working with us to move the server out of that building and into your EOC building. We've moved our redundancy to Barbara Pill. I did that shortly after taking office, so at least we've got those infrastructure potential major deficits covered. But this is not getting better. And we're just at a crossroads now where, you know, unfortunately, no fault of the 5 people that sit here today, but the combination of the people that have sat there before you, for whatever reason, have made decisions to ignore the mechanics, the major mechanics of this building, and it is now failing. So there's only so many more black water spills we're going to be able to take on to where it's not habitable, and so we're playing Russian roulette every day. I'm not here to be Chicken Little. It's just that I've got to have operations and I've got to open, and I am very sympathetic for the tax collector because I don't have 300 appointments that I have to try to move. The Sarno location that we're in that has also had AC woes is in the same condition, and it was built in 1968. So we just have some construction that the remaining economic life is 0. At this point. So, you know, I'll continue to communicate with the county, but something has to be done. Eventually, it's not going to be habitable. And I'm only going to be shut down so many times for operations before I'm going to have to make some moves and contact the department and say, I've got to have some facilities and potential look for lease spaces, which I don't want to do because it makes it more challenging for our customers that need to do other things in those other offices, so it's nice that we're located together. So thank you for letting my time run over, and I'm certainly here to answer any questions that you may have.
So I have a question. Now, when you say black water, you mean sewage?
Yes, sir.
So you're not like chickens. It's not like the sky is falling, something else is falling on your head.
Yes,
that's
sir.
Pretty abhorrent. And I do want to shout out the staff for their rapid response, because ironically I happened to be there, and I certainly personally am committed to doing what we could do to restore that courthouse. It's part of our legacy. It's our county seat, and we need to take care of it. I know it's a big undertaking, and I will probably have a lot of discussion about that as we go into the budget hearing. Any other comments or questions?
Well, I know that we appropriated some money for the six-story at the mid-year. My recollection, maybe in the last month. Now, remind us of what that was going to. And I'm sorry, maybe that's a Mark question.
It may $1.5 million, $1.8 million, somewhere in that.
I thought it was $1.8 million.
Yeah, for the HVAC and something else too. I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't have it off the top of my head.
The chiller project?
Yeah.
Mainly the
and-
chiller. We're running a piece of equipment to the tune of, and again, this is absolutely not the facility's fault. It's costing us $20,000 a month to keep temporary chillers for the north building in an office that has fluid mechanics that look like what I just showed you there. So we don't have a choice. You know, you can't operate when the temperatures are in the 90s with an inside temperature in the high 80s. You know, we just can't do that. So it's not like we have a choice not to be paying that, but we are paying $20,000 a month for a temporary chiller, and that's just in the north end. I don't know what we're paying for the Sarno complex, but it's how we're existing today. As I stand here and talk to you, we've got temporary generators or equipment running the HVAC system at Sarno.
Yeah. And Commissioners, your new budget director texted me $1.8 million for the VAV, which Mark can tell you is HVAC and that, and then and the property's correct. I talked about the last board meeting. I was panicking, thinking it was $1 million, but at least the permanent fix for Sarno is about $150,000, but that's like 6 weeks away still. 6 to 8 weeks. It's been a couple weeks, so that's why we're running chillers or whatever the tubes are in that office building too.
And also my recollection, I think at the Melbourne courthouse, it was something like $400,000 for the HVAC just in the last year that we replaced. Somewhere in that neighborhood.
That could be. I've had a lot of discussions on HVAC with the staff. Yes.
Well, thank you for being here and bringing us to our attention. I'm sure we'll be having a lot of dialogue in the future, and hopefully we can get it fixed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next public comment, Rick Heffelfinger.
Rick Heffelfinger, District 1. What a fine segue into my topic for public comment. We've talked about kicking things down the road, and I think Dana's description was quite nice, that it's not your guys' fault, but some things have been seriously neglected. Where are we going to get the money? There's one place we could have gotten money that I was really disappointed it's not on the agenda today. Didn't we talk about an impact study that was going to adjust those impact fees? That's not going to fix it this year. I understand that. We'd start collecting those at some other point. Is the study done? Do I understand it right that there's a study, and these impact fees, this is, see, I'm getting this stuff off the internet, so correct me if any of this is incorrect. We haven't updated impact fees in 25 years. And now is your opportunity to do that. And I'm afraid we're going to miss it because I think the state's going to step in and they're going to limit how much you can do that in a felled swoop. Now, if you don't do that and we don't correct the problem in the future, that's all going to fall on us, the taxpayers. Because these people that are coming in, these organizations, these builders, building these big housing outfits, bringing in big buildings, bringing in space stuff maybe as well, they're not being hit enough to cover the impact they have to our community, right? The roads, the water treatment plants, holy crud, sewage and water resources. So if you guys don't do that, I think here's my ask. Why don't you make a motion to conduct an emergency meeting next month when you should be off and bring that study up and make a decision if you're going to fix the problem or not. I would like to see you guys do that. Because that whole thing about the buildings, right? You're talking about $100,000 to fix this, that's structural failure there. That's probably eroded concrete maybe. You don't pull pipes in a building easily, right? That's going to, that's huge. And those numbers aren't even going to touch it, I bet. If you actually got, I don't know, has anybody got an estimate on redoing the plumbing in that building? It's 4 stories high, right? Holy crap. 6. Are we going to suggest we knock it down? Is that going to be cheaper? Sure sounds like it might be cheaper, right? That's the cost study you got to do. I hate to say that because you know what? We ain't got no money to do that. That sounded like an emergency. Oh, that's perfect. We can bust the cap with an emergency. So she set that up nicely. But it really is an emergency. But if there's no light at the end of the tunnel, there's going to be another emergency. After you build that building up, you sock it to us, you get that building and other buildings and other projects. I mean, like, there are a lot of projects that we're talking, ooh, it's terrible. And it is. She has pictures. It's terrible. So I'd like to see you guys have a meeting when you're supposed to be off and bring that issue up so we can talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandra Sullivan?
Good morning, Sandra Sullivan from Waves Action on Facebook. So I've been coming to these county commission meetings for about 8 years. The impact fees, which is developers share what they pay, has not been updated in over 25 years. For fire and EMS, we had a lot of struggles with that, not being able to pay them a fair wage and not having the infrastructure. I mean, it goes to infrastructure for impact fees. But so in 1998, a study was done to recommend that we increase those impact fees to $205 per resident. It's still $98. It hasn't been updated in so long. The can has been kicked down the road, and you've created a crisis. And in 2022, I came before you and said, well, hit the day when we have a crisis. In 2016, there was an impact fee feasibility study before the former commission that sat here, and they said no. It was recommended a 79% increase to transportation, and they said no. You know what they did? They busted the cap, and they put it on the taxpayers to pay the increases while the developers got off. Well, you know, it's been another 10 years since then, and now you're supposed to have an impact fee study. It was supposed to take 9 months. It was supposed to be done a couple months ago. Well, there's a new law that goes into effect the 1st of July that will limit you to 100% increase over 4 years. You've purposely, my allegation, has delayed this and not put this on this agenda today. And what are you doing? It's a repeat of 2016. You're going to bust the cap. And you're going to tax the people. The developers get off, and our taxes go up. And you want to talk about affordability. Because you know who it affects? You're on the Affordable Housing Board, Ms. Atkinson. It affects the elderly the most. That is the highest group of people that have homelessness. And that's what you're doing. You're pushing the veterans and the homeless out of their homes with the increase of costs. You're going to increase garbage 12%. You're going to increase stormwater a lot, put the burden on us for the flooding impacts because you develop wetlands. You're going to bust the cap and put that to new levels, and there are other taxes. That's all I have to say. You guys, I repeat what Rick said, in good conscience. You guys need to schedule an emergency meeting and bring forth that impact fee feasibility study. It's been over 25 years. And put that, because otherwise the burden is on us, the taxpayers. Thank you. Oh, the next meeting is the 7th of July, which is 7 days after the new law goes into effect.
Okay, that's all of our public hearing cards. It's time for a break. Let's come back at 11 o'clock.
Michelle.
Michelle does. She said she thinks it's a great idea to ask them if people like to go with.
Okay, we will proceed to H1. We're on public hearings, H1.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. H1 is a public hearing for adoption of amendments to Chapter 102, Article 2, entitled Business Tax Receipt, and repealing and reserving Section 62-1155, entitled Zoning Approval for Business Tax Receipt, Approval of Home Occupations.
Okay. We have no cards on that.
If there's no questions or cards, make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say yay.
Yay.
Yay. Yay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. H2.
Good morning, Commissioners. H2 is a public hearing that does not require a vote. It is just simply the announcement that we are accepting citizen input for our 2026-2027 annual action plan per HUD. This is for our CDBG and home dollars. The public meeting will be held today, one at CDBG, and then the second public hearing will be July 21st during a commission meeting.
Okay. We have no cards here. Any discussion? Motion be in order. There's no vote? We don't need a vote?
We don't need a vote.
All right, good.
Thank you.
H3.
Good morning, Commissioners. This item asks the board to consider placing before the voters a referendum to renew the existing half-cent infrastructure sales tax that funds the Save Our Indian River Lagoon program. In 2016, Brevard County residents chose to invest in restoring the Indian River Lagoon following a series of harmful algal blooms, fish kills, and significant seagrass loss. The voter-approved sales tax created a dedicated trust fund that allows the county and our municipal, private, and non-governmental partners to implement projects that reduce nutrient pollution, remove legacy muck, upgrade wastewater and septic systems, and restore natural ecological filtration systems. Over the past decade, the program has completed more than 130 projects, leveraged over $127 million in state and federal grants, and helped thousands of homeowners and businesses reduce nutrient pollution on their private property. During this time, excess nutrient levels have declined, harmful algal blooms and fish kills have lessened, and seagrass and fisheries recovery has begun. While this progress is encouraging, continued pollution reduction is necessary to meet water quality targets and restore lagoon health. The current sales tax expires December 31st. Renewal, if approved by the voters, is estimated to generate approximately $800 million over 10 years for continued lagoon restoration efforts. The actions before you today would approve the ordinance placing renewal referendum on the November 3rd ballot, extend the existing interlocal agreement with the municipalities contingent upon voter approval, and approve the ballot language for transmission to the supervisor of elections. Approval of these items does not renew the tax. It will provide Brevard County voters the opportunity to decide whether they wish to continue this locally dedicated investment in restoring and protecting the Indian River Lagoon. With that, staff is requesting the board's consideration of these three recommended actions, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Do we have any questions on behalf of the board? We will move to public hearing. We have a substantial number of cards. Our first one, Mitchell Roffer. Oh. That's rare.
Nice to see everybody. My name is Mitchell Roffer. I live down in Melbourne Beach, 6025 Highway A1A. I received my doctorate in biological oceanography from the Rosenstiel School in Miami. I've since served 20 years in the NASA Biodiversity Science Team, and I'm presently on the STEM Council as part of the IRA Council. The Save Our Indian River Lagoon program plans prioritizes and delivers project that reduces pollution removes legacy nutrient loads and would like to restore natural filtration systems while tracking progress and effectiveness over time. What's important about this plan, in addition to looking at the science, is it provides transparency. Transparency through projects, citizens' oversight, public meetings, educational tools are provided for the residents to understand what's really going on. It doesn't take much for someone to know what's happening with the lagoon, particularly with this program, just to go on the website. Try to stay away from some of the false information on Facebook, but go to the website itself, which really shows what's going on. Depending on who you're talking with, it's taken 30 to 50 years to get to this point in the lagoon, and it's certainly going to take this much time to get the lagoon to get to back to the point where it can help restore itself. There's nothing we can do other than stop the pollution to actually get it back to the natural cycle that we hope to do as scientists. So it's important to know that the RL provides, and I think you know this, that it provides a strong economic boost to the county, as well as the county health depends on it. Not just the health of the animals associated with the lagoon, but the people around the lagoon influenced by algal blooms, as well as eating the fish that may be toxic themselves. So I'm here to hopefully you will support putting this half-cent tax back on the referendum for the taxpayers, and hopefully we can continue the good management that Virginia and her staffs have been doing for the last 10 years. Guys, it seems 10 years has gone by so fast, and we're just barely touching the problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next.
Shaking is not from a nervousness, it's due to its coldness in this room.
Yeah, okay.
It's freezing.
All right. It is a little bit chilly.
I've talked to a lot of people over the years.
All right. Jim Moyer? And the next speaker would be Phil Stasek.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good morning. I'm Jim Moyer. I am with the Marine Resources Council, and I'm also the Indian River Keeper. I live in Martin County. I was very engaged in the early days of the SOIRL program, and I applaud that commission, and I applaud you all for continuing to keep the SOIRL program going. Other counties up and down, the 7 counties that live on the Indian River Lagoon, look up to you. What you guys have done truly sets a high standard for how a community really cares about the Indian River Lagoon and is willing to do something about it. I really hope that you persist and continue, because we're beginning to see progress. We're beginning to see that this program actually has worked and has reduced some of the negative inputs that decades of misuse have allowed the Indian River Lagoon to become what it had. Thank you very much for considering the resolution, and I hope you move forward with it, and I hope that you actually exceed the goals of $800 million. That's an amazing amount of money that you can actually leverage to get something positive done for something that we all care so much about. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up all the way from Martin County. Phil Stasek.
Thank you, Chairman Altman, Commissioners, and Commissioner Goodson and the great beyond. We're glad that you're here. Thank you so much for your service to our community. It's amazing that my name is Phil Stasek, North Merritt Island. 10 years ago, I and many of my friends that are here today stood before the Commission and asked for the support of this wonderful program. The program works. One of the things that we have to also say thanks to is Virginia Barker and her team for making this reality. The Indian River Lagoon Estuary is the beating heart of Brevard County. We know that it has been in trouble. I think probably 80 years ago the decline began. As people moved into this community, we began impacting the community in negative ways. And it's literally only been in the last 10 years that we as a group, thanks to the courage and the leadership, the wisdom of the previous commission back 10 years ago, that we were able to begin reviving the beating heart of our community. And now, 10 years later, we all get up and we look in the mirror and we say, oh my gosh, if 10 years gone by, yep, they sure have, and here we are again. But it's now up to you. We're looking to you to have the courage, to have the wisdom, to have the leadership, to bring the Save Our Indian River Lagoon back to the people, back to vote again in November for this half-cent sales tax. The cost is minuscule. The benefits are awesome. I can speak to this personally. Over the years, I've been an oyster gardener. I've worked on Spoil Island. I've done cleanups on the shore. I've spent hours diving on the bottom of this lagoon, cleaning it up. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've felt it with my own hands. The Save Our Indian River Lagoon program works. We're measuring the restoration of the seagrasses. We're seeing fish return. It's going to take a lot more than just this amount of money that we've done over the past 10 years. It's going to take another 10 years. It might take 10 more years beyond that. But half-cent sales tax, it's a very simple solution to a very complex problem. And so once again, 10 years later, we're standing here and we're asking you again, please say yes to bringing the Save Our Indian River Lagoon back, the program back to the voters so that they can say yes. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? No, thank you for
Thank you
your
very much
comments.
for
We appreciate
saying
them.
yes.
Thank you. Gordon Nelson is our next speaker, and after him, Blair Wiggins. Hey, Gordon.
Thank you and good morning. I'm here and in District 5 and am in the hamlet, which is near the southeast corner of Lake Washington and Turtle Mound. Now, Turtle Mound is the watershed boundary, west boundary line. We thus are 3 miles from the lagoon. There are 59,438 septic tanks within the watershed of Brevard County. SOIRL estimates the nitrogen from our properties, and there are 50 properties in the hamlet. 12 properties are 1.6 pounds per year. 12 properties are 3.1 pounds per year. 18 are under 10 pounds per year. And 8 are near the county average at 31 pounds. That yields 210 pounds per year for 42 homes plus 248 pounds for the 8. The cost to upgrade 50 properties is $1.1 million at 22K average, which is in fact not going to be enough. Clearly spending $1.1 million is a waste of money. The current process of giving grants of $20,000 to high emitters, but only $6,000 at the low end is blatantly unfair. In fact, 42 low emitters of our properties should not be required to replace their systems with all the environmental damage that will be involved. The average emitter in the county is 29 pounds per year. 65% of that is 18.9 pounds per year. 42 of our properties are already lower than that will be achieved by the average emitter after upgrade. If one looks at NSF 245, which is the test for septic systems, if you look at systems with low nitrogen influent, nitrogen is actually added to the test to assess whether the septic systems get 65%. You're actually adding nitrogen. It is not established, therefore, that low influence systems achieve any reduction. Replacing 60,000 septic tanks at $20,000 is $1.2 billion. The current state legislative date of July 30th will clearly not be met. By far, it will not be met. The plan for the next decade has $233 million to improve sewage treatment, convert septic to sewer, and upgrade septics. That is far from the $1 billion, or $1.5 billion that's going to be needed. Vero Beach has a hybrid system for 1,500 homes. That step system has half the cost, and with minimal installation and environmental damage. Brevard needs better technology. The renewal and the sales tax is not ready for prime time, given the septic tank issues that I mentioned. A rational, comprehensive plan needs to be in place, and it's not yet there, or homeowners may well vote no.
Our next speaker, Blair Wiggins, and after Blair Wiggins will be Vince Lamb.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thanks for hearing us out today. And I just want to say I'm Captain Blair Wiggins, host of Blair Wiggins Outdoors, lifelong resident of Cocoa Beach in Brevard County here, and founder of the Indian River Clam Restoration Project. And I just want to say that my fans and myself are in support of keeping the half-cent sales tax on the ballot. The programs that SOIRL is funding now would hate to see those go away. And I'll keep it short and sweet since it's been a long day. And I just want to say that we are in definite support of keeping the sales tax on the ballot. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Vince Lamb and Gary Agrina. I'm sure I'll be corrected when you get up here, Gary.
Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. Vince Lamb, and I'm speaking today on behalf of the Brevard Indian River Lagoon Coalition. I'm sure you can remember back in March when we requested assistance from the Trust for Public Land to come forward and perhaps help us with some of the elements of campaigning for this. So I want to share with you that the Trust for Public Land conducted a public opinion survey of likely 2026 November ballot Brevard County voters, and believes, based on these results, that the renewal of the Save Our Indian River Lagoon half-cent sales tax has a very good chance of passing. Therefore, we recommend that the Brevard County Commission place the measure on the November 3rd ballot. Most people recognize the efforts of the past 9 years of the Save Our Indian River Lagoon program have resulted in seagrass recovery of more than 10,000 acres. Many people believe that the Brevard County portion of the Indian River Lagoon remains in poor to fair condition, substantially improved from 10 years ago, but not yet back to anything resembling good condition. The Brevard Indian River Lagoon Coalition is prepared to launch a campaign to inform voters about this referendum and why they should vote for it, as we did in 2016. We're currently recruiting volunteers to get ready for a very active campaign in September and October. So we appreciate your consideration of this matter today, and we look forward to getting to work on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary, and then after Gary, Matthew Nyland.
Hi, Gary Aguinaga. So I'm a longtime resident of Brevard County since the 60s. I live on the Indian River Lagoon presently in Cocoa. Marine engineer by degree, and a many hours a year volunteer with all the many programs that all these great organizations and scientists and engineers and other folks do to have helped try to turn this lagoon around. Why am I here? I'm here because I care deeply about this lagoon. I grew up when it was pristine, and I would love to preserve that for my children and their children. Also, I care deeply about this county, and I think it's pretty clear. I think someone said that this lagoon is the heartbeat of the county, but the direct tie to the long-term well-being and viability and economic viability of this county is critical to have a healthy lagoon in terms of property values, in terms of inward growth, development, business success, tourism. It doesn't work with a dead lagoon. And so I'm here to ask you all to please consider not only approving this to be on the ballot, but to do it unanimously, and to, as you go about and are able to use your circles of influence, to please help raise awareness of just how critical this issue is to our county. I think it's critically important at this point, after 10 years, that, as others have said, there is visible evidence now. There's scientific evidence and visible evidence that it's beginning to work. But to stop funding now would present such a huge challenge as we've just begun this, I think would be devastating, not only financially, but to the hundreds and thousands of volunteers who have gotten behind this team effort to try to turn this lagoon around. The root causes haven't been solved yet. There's lots of reactive fixes between the filter feeders like clams and oysters and seagrass growing, et cetera. But we still have far too many septic systems. We still have a huge stormwater runoff problem. We have municipalities that have been a bit slow to require low-impact development with developers, et cetera. And the more concrete and asphalt we put down, the more stormwater runoff and nutrients will go into the lagoon in the future. So I think now's the time to double down, continue what we started, and do the right thing. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Matthew Nyland. And next speaker after Matthew would be Ann Conroy.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Matt Nyland. I'm from the Brevard Democratic Environmental Caucus, and I'm here to just quickly say I want to thank the Commission for the public and transparent process that has brought us to this critical point of decision on the renewal of the SOIRL program. I'm confident today in a positive outcome from you, and I look forward to the opportunity to build a broad coalition of Brevard County residents who value the quality of life in the county and share our view that the Indian River Lagoon is the crown jewel that anchors the area's environment. So thank you.
Thank you. Ann Conroy and Elizabeth Neville will be the next speaker.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ann Conroy Bader, and on behalf of the Space Coast Chamber of Commerce, we support allowing the citizens of Brevard County the opportunity to vote on the renewal of SOIRL for an additional 10 years. We're already seeing meaningful outcomes from SOIRL through critical infrastructure improvements, water quality projects, septic to sewer conversions, and restoration efforts taking place throughout the county, and all backed by data and transparency. Continuing this momentum is important not only for the environment, but for the long-term economic health and resiliency of our region. The health of the Indian River Lagoon is directly tied to our community's quality of life, environmental sustainability, tourism industry, property values, and long-term economic vitality. A healthy lagoon supports local businesses, attracts visitors and talent, helps retain that talent, and protect one of our region's most valuable natural economic assets. And with the economic and population growth Brevard is forecasted to see in the next 10 years, with the accompanying environmental stresses, it's more important than ever that this essential work continues. The Chamber believes that the residents of Brevard County should have the opportunity to decide on the future of the lagoon. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Elizabeth Neville, and our next speaker will be Lisa Ruckman.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to provide comments and for your service to the county. My name is Elizabeth Neville. I'm the Director of Environmental Law and Policy for Save the Manatee Club. We are a nonprofit dedicated to protecting manatees and their habitat. We strongly support placing the SOIRL referendum on the ballot to allow the Brevard County voters the opportunity to continue investing in the long-term health of the Indian River Lagoon. Since its creation, SOIRL has funded critical restoration and water quality improvement projects throughout the lagoon watershed. These investments have supported septic to sewer conversions, muck removal, stormwater improvements, wastewater infrastructure upgrades, and habitat restoration projects aimed at reducing nutrient pollution entering the lagoon. Together, these projects are helping improve water quality and ecosystem health across the region. These efforts are especially important for manatees. As you well know, over the last decade, the Indian River Lagoon has experienced catastrophic seagrass loss, largely driven by nutrient pollution and harmful algal blooms. Seagrass is a primary food source for manatees, and its decline has had devastating consequences on the East Coast manatee population. Between December 2020 and April 2022, Florida experienced the deadliest unusual mortality event on record, during which 1,255 manatees died, primarily from starvation linked to the severe seagrass loss in the lagoon. The SOIRL program provides funding for projects that improve water quality and restore submerged aquatic vegetation, directly supporting the recovery and long-term survival of our state marine mammal. Environment and economics are deeply entwined when it comes to the benefits of lagoon restoration. The lagoon generates approximately $28.3 billion in economic value and attracts millions of visitors annually, meaning water quality decline can carry serious economic consequences for the surrounding communities. Poor water quality and harmful algal blooms contributed to average property value losses of approximately $36,000 per home and roughly $2.7 billion in total housing market losses in just 8 years during the crisis. In sum, Save the Manatee Club strongly supports placing the SOIRL renewal referendum on the ballot. SOIRL is making a measurable difference, but the work is far from complete. And with state and federal funding in flux, we cannot afford to lose local investments. For the sake of our manatees, our environment, our economy, and our communities, continued commitment to the Indian River Lagoon remains essential. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lisa Ruckman, and our next speaker will be Laura Lee Thompson.
Hello. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do for the county. And I'm also appreciating all the county staff members. Every time I've called with a question, they've always been very helpful in making sure that my questions are answered. I'm a volunteer with the Lagoon Coalition, but also with the East Merritt Island Community Association, which is basically the east zip code for Merritt Island. And we have seen improvement with the lagoon, and we're happy to see that we're seeing the progress that's been happening. But they're still looking forward to having the waters be more clear, to having our dolphins be a little healthier, because I know that they're struggling a little bit somewhat, and being able to be able to see the fish in the water and have healthy fish to be able to fish again as well. We have a lot of the homes that are near the water on Merritt Island, of course, and many of them still have the septic tanks that are in probably too close proximity to the lagoon. So we're grateful for the projects that have been happening, that are still going to be happening in our area, and also for the financial assistance, because it can be a big deal for people who are replacing their septic tanks to either a better septic tank, or for the ones that are being able to connect to the newer sewer conversion. We also like for our tax dollars that the Save Our Lagoon program has been really working hard at focusing on finding those things which are going to make the most impact, and trying to use our finances strategically. And we're also concerned about our property values, and as people have already mentioned before, so many of the things that are improving the lagoon will make the property values increase, and if things are not handled well and we end up having more algae blooms and that sort of thing, that will not assist with our property values. So we'd like to be able to continue, and we see success in all the education that's been done with the program, the cleanup and all the restoration efforts. In fact, we've got a project starting in our neighborhood right now, and we have a meeting in East Merritt Island on Tuesday where we'll have staff come to speak to us. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Laura Lee Thompson, and our next speaker will be Keith Winston. Thank you. What's that?
Lorley Thompson. I live in Mims, longtime river rat, and I brought you proof. You know, this is absolute proof, and the timing is wonderful for St. John's River Water Management District to do this press release a couple of days ago, you know, showing that absolutely the seagrass is increasing in the Indian River Lagoon. And so based on, this is a 2025 update. They do these updates every 2 years. So the next one will come in 2027. You know, they've shown that in 2023 there was 24,000 acres of seagrass, which was a huge increase over the survey before. And then in 2025, last year, they have 42,000 acres. So that's like an 18,000 acre increase in 2 years. And what I've seen, I watched it start out in southern Mosquito Lagoon and then creep over to the northern Indian River Lagoon. And then last summer, we had seagrass all along the shoreline in Titusville. And so the seagrass growth is slowly working its way south. It's you know, it was above the Nassau Causeway last year, but and now it's creeping below the Nassau Causeway. So you guys that don't have seagrass down here yet, it's coming. It's coming. And, you know, the Water Management District did a seed survey a couple of years ago and found that there are seeds in the sediments all up and down the lagoon. So we just got to keep steady, you know, keep with the plan. Their transect links have increased. That tells me that the water's getting clearer. The density of the seagrass in the transects is getting denser. Everything's pointing towards a huge success with the SOIRL program. So I hope that you will keep it going. And then, you know, finally, we had the seahorse that the fisherman found off of Kelly Park in his shrimp trap. I knew that there were seahorses in the northern Indian River Lagoon because the crabbers have been seeing them in their traps for a couple years now. But to see that one has shown up down in the central Banana River is really, really good. And again, it shows that it's working. And so I hope you guys will keep it going. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lorley. Keith Winston, and the next speaker is Sandra Sullivan.
So as elected officials and as county employees, I think most of the time you only hear it when people think government gets something wrong. And I just want to say this has been sort of a great day hearing how government's getting a lot of things right. From the fire chief you just honored this morning to the piece about public works. And the SOIRL program is a fantastic example of that. The original ordinance was well put together. The structure, the oversight, the approval, the impact, you have seen step and step again. This is government getting something right, and you've heard it. And the two meetings that you held in the north and the south side of the county, you heard it from everybody there. I think there was one speaker against out of 60-plus speakers. So I just want to commend you all for getting this whole process right, getting the review right, continuing to act. This is a great government program, and we should all be proud of that. And it involves thousands and thousands of people helping it. So I want to recognize all of you today for your role in that and pushing it forward. I know you're going to put it on the ballot and let the people decide, and we're pretty confident what the people will say. But thanks for giving us that chance, and thanks for managing such a great program from staff to the commissioners. You've done a fantastic job with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandra Sullivan, and next speaker, Bruce Moya.
Can you turn that on for me? Oh, this? Before you start my time. Sorry. Okay. Can you start my time again? Thank you. Sandra Sullivan with Waves Action. So that was me leaving my community this morning. In 2024, the county stopped spraying the ditches with herbicides. This drains directly out to the lagoon. We've had no seagrass since the law changed in special session November of 2010. That was HB 981 to start spraying. And so the county stopped spraying the ditches here, Tropical Trail, US 1, et cetera, that drain to the lagoon. And so I posted at the time. I said, but you want to make a bet. The seagrass is going to make a recovery, and this is being done at a time to show that the lagoon tax is working. So I'm not in favor of the lagoon tax. And one of the things that I want to talk about is the impact of, we know that the herbicides feed, or phosphorus food source that feed algae blooms that kill the seagrass. We lost, over 90% of our seagrass after we started spraying. Other counties do not have a lagoon tax. We're the only one with a lagoon tax, and we had the worst degradation. So you stop spraying, and now we have good recovery. Now we have good recovery starting with the lagoon, but it's not the lagoon tax. I call it the muck tax, because I don't know how many people in this room have actually read the lagoon plan, but I have. $2 billion worth of muck dredging projects and $600 million worth of stormwater projects at the Cape and Patrick's Space Force Base. I call it the military muck tax, because one of the things that's missing in our lagoon tax is PFAS contamination. Yet if you read the NEP, EPA-approved CCMP, their plan, we're required as part of the Indian River Lagoon Council to have certain pollutants in our plan, which we do not have. So a big one missing is PFAS. So lo and behold, in 2010 to 2015, we did studies that muck acts like a sink to attract PFAS. And then Patrick comes out with their remedial assessment in the beginning of 2015. And you guys, Thad, you were part of this newspaper article. You were like, we're going to create the muck tax. And that's what you called it in the newspaper article. And it said it's not legal to do it, that we have to go and change legislation so that we can create the muck tax to remove muck. Well, guess what? It failed twice in appropriations. So I question whether it's even legal to have the muck tax. We got mucked.
Okay, our last speaker, Bruce Moya. By the way, I have no recollection of ever using the term muck tax. I'll have to, if you give me a copy of that article, I'd love to read it. I'm sure you can find me. I'd love to see it. Okay, thanks. Bruce Moya.
Yes, good morning. Probably surprised to see me here. I'm not normally here to talk about environmental issues, but this one's very important to me. As a Brevard native, I've enjoyed this river my whole life, and I want to make sure that it's going to be even healthier than what I remember back when I was young for my grandkids, and their grandkids. So this is very, very important, and to see the progress. Some of the people that have talked about this, it brings me joy when I open up the paper and I see an article about how the lagoon's coming back, seagrasses, the seahorse. It's, so exciting to read that in the paper in the morning, and hopefully more to come. So, I'm obviously in support of this. I think it's very much needed. If I wanted to see anything different, I would hope that the adjoining counties would also tax themselves. As we do, we clean up our mess. I wish they would clean up their mess. That'd be awesome. And then maybe tax more of the people that have been polluting that river for over 60 years would have been kind of nice, but we're getting there, and we'll one step at a time. So thank you, and we hope that you approve this for the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's our last card, so we'll bring this to the board. First, we'll start out with any discussions or questions from the board.
I think a few points today, Mr. Chair, if I might. With regards to other counties and their tax or the lack of, the fact of it, the matter is, because this sales tax does exist in Brevard County, we have gotten much more support from the state, from St. John's, federal agencies, because they're willing to match And it's a much harder conversation when you go to Tallahassee and you say, we want you to spend money here. And they say, how much have you raised at home? Nothing. And that is an impossible ask when you go to Tallahassee. So I think that's one of the most significant benefits of having this at the local level is that we get a lot of additional support for the lagoon. I think it's taken, I've said this several times, 3 generations to make the river dirty. I think it's going to take this one to clean it up. And I think we're partway into it, but we are making progress. A lot of people here today came to the 2 workshops that we had, so we've made a lot of effort to reach out to the community and talk about this, and we had great participation in Titusville and then again in Palm Bay. And so I feel like the county's going to this is sort of the end of a chapter for us, and then the issue will go before the voters, and the voters will write the next chapter. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Chair?
Yes, absolutely.
So you all have put me on the Indian River Lagoon Board, and I will tell you, every time I go to a meeting, I sit there, and it takes me the longest to say all of the progress that we've made in Brevard County compared to all of the other board members. And I'm always proud to be able to say how much money Virginia has gotten extra in addition, but only because, like you said, Commissioner Feltner, because we have the money to put up as well, do we get those extra funds. So I fully support allowing the voters to make the decision.
Okay. I agree with that. It's a wonderful statement on behalf of Brevard and its citizens to show that they care so much for this very precious resource and very unique environmental treasure that we have here in Brevard County. I certainly support putting this back on the ballot. Any other discussion? Okay.
Mr. Chair,
yes.
if there's no more discussion, I would like to move to approve.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there
I'll second.
A motion and a second for approval of the ordinance to place the referendum on the November 3rd, 2026 ballot to renew the 1/2 cent infrastructure sales tax for the Save Our Indian River Lagoon program. Okay.
And Mr.
I
Chair,
knew there might be more. Okay.
just to be clear, that includes the other 2 components of the requested action as well, I assume,
Yes.
which is approve extension of the existing sales tax use and distribution interlocal agreements with the municipalities, subject to voter approval, obviously, and approve the ballot language included in the ordinance.
Yes.
Is that included in the
My
motion?
motion includes all 3.
Okay.
And the second,
And
yes,
the
sir.
second. That's included. Okay, great. Virginia, we got you. Okay. All right. Any debate, discussion, debate? All in favor say yay.
Yay.
Yay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to no item I, unfinished business. J, new business. Development Environmental Services Group, J1.
Good morning, Board. So
No
J1 is a contract for sale and purchase from...
Go ahead. We
Okay.
can hear you.
From Ms. Meyer. This is for a SOIRL project on Merritt Island, Zone G Septic to Sewer Conversion Project. And it's for a vacant parcel at 1485 South Oak Drive for $299,000 to do a critical project for a pump station.
Okay, any discussion? Motion be in order?
I'll make the motion. Yeah, I thought he was going to.
I hear Commissioner
Yep.
Goodson.
I'll second it.
Yes, I would like to make a motion for approval.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Feltner. All those in favor say yay. Yay.
Yay.
Carries unanimously. Thank you. J2.
Good morning, Commissioners. Item J2 is concerning the solid waste collection contract. The contract has an initial 7-year term that runs through September 30th of 2027 with a single provision for a 3-year extension to extend the contract through September 30th of 2030. The current collector, Waste Management, has requested that extension and requested a revision to the price adjustments on an annual basis. And we're requesting the board to approve one of the following options. Option 1 is to approve legislative intent to consider the 3-year extension of the current solid waste collection contract, authorize advertising a public hearing and notification to property owners of a potential increase to the non-ad valorem solid waste collection assessment, and hold a public hearing in the future during a regular meeting to consider approval of the contract extension and the associated assessment increase. Option 2 is to authorize purchasing services to advertise a request for proposal to competitively select a solid waste collection provider, and to authorize the county manager to establish a selection and negotiation committee at which staff will bring back a negotiated contract for the board's consideration. Option 3 is any other action as determined by the board. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions? Okay, do you want to hear, let's hear the cards and then we'll have questions. Okay, Rick Heffelfinger is our speaker. Sandra Sullivan will be our next speaker.
I think Sandra mentioned what brought her to this commission and started her little quest to get things straightened out. This brought me to this commission 7 years ago. I've also made some recommendations, not necessarily through a SEER, but through the online page. There's some things that need to be fixed in the contract, and one of those is somebody else hauling away our stuff. Waste Management has had a monopoly on this. They hold the tight reins of recyclables. I don't think there's anybody else that can do recyclables. And if I remember correctly, it was the county that gave them an incentive to build that facility. Wonderful facility, but they own it. I don't think anybody else has got one. So they're going to get recyclables, I think, unless we just want to do away with the recyclable program. I don't think we want to do that. Those recyclables taken out of the landfill should extend our landfills, if they are in fact taken out. Maybe we don't have the greatest participation, but we can work on that. And I think the Solid Waste Department has worked to do that. So they've got this monopoly. The last time we did this contract, there were other bidders. And I said, why don't we go with some of those other bidders? They're cheaper. And the decision was made by that commission at the time that, you know what, we don't know if we have confidence in those bidders. They don't have enough trucks. Well, that's the reason you get a contract. You get a contract, you win the contract, you buy trucks. If you take the contract away from somebody else, I'll bet you they're selling trucks. So that was my view, that was not a good answer. If we break the contract up, I realize that's a pain in the butt. You got to manage potentially 3 contracts, right? That's a pain in the butt. But we're paying for the fact that we're being extorted, if you will, by Waste Management. Their service is not good. Their service was not good during the last contract. How many people still have piles of debris left over from the frost? The county actually cut them some slack, gave them a 2-week extension. You can blow the date you give somebody on the phone or through one of the requests. We'll give you 2 weeks. We still got piles of stuff. The grass is dying underneath. We're going to get into hurricane season. Where's that stuff all going to go? They're not doing a very good job. They don't follow the contract as it is. I know you guys, we have that little system where you can ding them if enough people complain that they missed a pickup. I made some money last year. I think I got one of them where I got enough people in the neighborhood to say, hey, we didn't get picked up, right? Everybody put your thing in there. We get enough, we get money. Got one of those. But you don't have any idea how many complaints I had about the way that they leave the garbage can when they're done picking it up. The lid's supposed to be closed. Nobody seems to be compliant with that. Nobody's pushing. You guys manage the contract. I don't see any effort to smack them down. I did get one feedback that they did that, but we need to break that monopoly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sandra Sullivan, our next speaker, and Joanne Stanley after Sandra.
Good morning, Sandra Sullivan. So my request today is that you go out to bid, you do good by the people of Brevard, and you go out to a competitive bid, and because we're looking at next year, 12% increase. 12% increase on the taxpayers. So from a fiscal perspective, doing due diligence and seeing what you can get as competitive bids would be the rightful thing to do. It's not lost on me the lobbyists that are here, lobbyists that have contributed to your campaign. So it'll be real interesting whether you are fair and equitable by the people of Brevard going out to competitively bid for the best deal. My residents in Wilton Manors, they've switched from waste management. Other entities have switched from waste management. Put it out to the competitive process. That's all. Just don't do what the lobbyists say, like, your phone during the vote for the hospital where you got a text message, here's who to vote for.
Jordan Stanley, Joanne Stanley. Jordan Chandler will be the next speaker.
Good morning, Joanne Stanley, Republic Services. We are a $16 billion environmental services company that picks up solid waste and recycling. We're in 42 states. We have 18,000 trucks, and we pick up about 5 million homes a day. So we are a viable option for the county to actually put this out for RFP. And we have about a 99.5% pickup rate. So our service is excellent throughout the state and the country. And we ask you to pick option 2 and put out a competitive RFP for your services. Thank you.
Jordan Chandler.
Good morning, Chair Altman, Vice Chair Atkinson, Commissioner Feltner, Commissioner Goodson, Jordan Chandler. I am the Government Affairs Manager for WM and a lifelong resident of Brevard County and a very proud constituent of District 5. First and foremost, let me say that Waste Management is proud to serve Brevard County, not just as a service provider, but truly as an integral part of this community. We have more than 300 employees who just don't work here. They live here, they raise families here, and they show up every single day to serve their neighbors. Our team members in your neighborhoods before sunrise, interacting with residents, helping solve problems, supporting school events, and giving back through charitable endeavors across this community. So I can simply say that we are not just of this community, we are truly in this community, making a difference every single day. And while we know that no service operation is ever perfect, what defines us is our commitment. Every day, we work to earn the trust of the community and also to grow together. So simply our ask today is that we're respectfully requesting the board to pursue option 1 and consider approval of the 3-year renewal that is outlined in this current and existing franchise agreement. This extension would take the contract through September 30th, 2030, and after which it will go out to a competitive RFP. This is the only renewal option built in the current contract, and it provides a structured pathway forward, and we're asking you to ultimately pursue that. So what's really important here? We service 92,000 households. Continuity of service is important. And a renewal ensures at this particular point in time, zero disruption during a critical time. What's important here? Reliability, you can count on. Transitioning providers at this particular point in time introduces operational risk, staffing disruption, and potential service gaps, and renewal ultimately, and renewing this current agreement ultimately avoids those risks altogether. What's important here? Cost predictability. Staff, I think, has done a phenomenal job in outlining the potential fiscal impact that there ultimately could be if this were to go out to a competitive RFP at this particular point in time due to the market volatility. And so, in closing, This decision today is about certainty versus uncertainty, continuity versus disruption, and a trusted relationship versus transition risk. This renewal keeps a proven system in place, maintains reliability, provides cost stability, and preserves strong community engagement. So we respectfully, once again, ask that you, at this particular point in time, consider option one. And as stated, once again, 2030, this will go out to a competitive RFP. Thank you.
Thank you. Dean Ulrich?
Good morning. Apologize, I'm a little under the weather right now, but Dean Ulrich, I'm the division manager for Waste Pro here in Brevard County. I'm also a Brevard County resident, and we are encouraging you to put this out for a competitive bid. Obviously, we would like to see that. Waste Pro is nowhere near the size of Waste Management or Republic, but we are more than qualified, have substantial resources enough to do this, to do the job. We are a Florida-based company headquartered in Longwood. We are celebrating our 25th year right now, so we're very pleased with the growth that goes on here. We have, right now in Brevard County, we have 6 municipal contracts. And so we are, again, we're not as large as the others, but we are fully capable of providing the service for everybody. We do operate much larger operations around us, so the resources are there. We have large divisions in basically that surround Brevard County. So we're down in Port St. Lucie, we've got Orlando, we've got Sanford and Daytona, all the way around us. So, so we have, again, plenty of resources that we can pull from, and we encourage you to put this out for a bid. That's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's our last card that I can see. We'll bring this back before the board. What is the desire of the board? Any discussion? I'm sure we have questions. Yes. Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you. My question, experience, in your experience, who has gone out to bid recently? And do you know what the results of those have been for other municipalities, other counties?
I know there are 3 other counties that have gone out to bid recently, which recently in this case is 2024. Excuse me. I believe that Lake County ended up with a 42% increase on their renewal of the contract. Orange County ended up with an 82% increase. Volusia County ended up with only a 7% increase, and the reason why is the difference between whether they have a cost adjustment allowance or a low cap in the cost adjustment for annual cost adjustments. Volusia County, I believe, had a 5% cost adjustment, so the collector was able to keep up with the consumer price index year to year.
Okay, thank you.
On that question, similar, build on that, how about the municipalities in Brevard? I know.
I'm not aware of any of their recent contracts. I know that I believe the city of Cocoa, or it may be Cocoa Beach, is currently out for an RFP.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Seeing no questions, is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve option number 1.
I'll second.
Okay. There's a motion for option number 1. Any debate? I will be voting against that. I would have preferred option 2 because I think I'd like to see us competitively bid, especially due to the nature of the length that the time that's passed since we did not bid. But all those in favor say yay.
Yay.
Nay? Nay. Motion passes 3-1. Okay. That closes that item. Let's move to J2. I'm sorry, J3. Approval option agreement for sale and purchase of piece of property.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good afternoon. This agenda item is asking for approval for the sale of purchase of the Bernadette, Rabel, and Jason Tesauro property up in Mims. It's about 10 acres of property for $119,000. This is for inclusion of that property underneath the EELS Conservation Program, fully funded by EELS referendum dollars. Available for questions.
Okay, we do have one card. Laura Lee Thompson.
Thank you, Laura Lee Thompson, Mims, Florida. So this property is right around the corner from where I live on Hammock. I don't live on Hammock Road, but I travel on Hammock Road all the time. And it is a gorgeous piece of oak hammock. You know, there's not a lot of original maritime oak hammock left along the Indian River Lagoon. And it's also a really good price, you know, because I know what kind of price, you know, land in that part of Mims is going for. And $100,000 for 100 acres, I mean, for 10 acres is a really good deal. So I would recommend picking this up. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
If there's no other discussion, sir, I'll make a motion to approve with all four of the requests that's in the agenda packet.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second for approval with the 4 requests in the agenda packet. Did we cover everything? Okay, good. All in favor say yay.
Yay.
Yay. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. J4?
Thank you, Commissioners. Similarly, J4 is a request to purchase another property. This is in the south end of the county in Malabar, at the south end of the Malabar Scrub. It is approximately 2.1 acres for the price of $208,000. This is part of the scrub habitat, so it will enhance that area down south. Again, available for questions.
Excellent.
You don't have a card on, I thought that was.
No cards.
Okay. If there's no discussion, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion and second to approve option agreement for sale and purchase of Plan 1 Inc. property through the Conservation Fund. All those in favor say yay.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Fantastic. Okay, we will move to J5. Education Facilities Impact Fee Agreement with School Board and Lennar Corporation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Lennar Corporation is in the process of developing a large 55 and up active adult community in the city of Palm Bay, now known as Timbers at Everlands. The school board and the city of Palm Bay granted an exemption for that development because it is an age-restricted active adult community for residents 55 or older from the school facilities impact fee. Unfortunately, Brevard County, we administer the impact fee program for the school board. No one alerted us to the exemption, and Lennar mistakenly paid the school facilities impact fee on some 300 units to the tune of a little over $1.5 million. The agreement before you is an agreement between Lennar, the school board, and Brevard County that will allow Lennar to receive a credit for those mistakenly paid impact fees for future Lennar development within the Southern Brevard County Impact Fee Benefit District. The school board approved this at their meeting last Tuesday.
Okay, any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve if there's no questions or discussion.
Motion to approve. And a second. All in favor say yay.
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 Carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay. Now we'll go to K, public comments. I think we have no K cards. Okay. We'll move to board reports. And we'll flip the page. County Manager.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chair. As I mentioned earlier, we have a solution to the HVAC system at the SOIRL complex, so we don't need to come back to talk about reserves. I mentioned that the last meeting.
Yes.
Don't need to come back, so I just want to let you know we're not coming back.
Great news, especially since we're getting close to June. County Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've discussed with the commissioners, at least individually before in briefings, a situation with Change Healthcare, which was our previous vendor for collecting EMS billing for fire rescue. They had a data breach that resulted in a long delay in billing. To some extent, it's resulted, even though eventually they resumed billing, there's some bills that were rejected because they were not properly billed within 90 days, and some insurers have a provision to reject. I had been looking into our alternatives once we are able to, fully evaluate our potential losses resulting from that activity. I've been assessing our remedies through litigation and otherwise. Currently, there's multi-district litigation pending in a district in Minnesota regarding other issues, non-local government providers who were harmed by this data breach. I very recently, at a meeting late last week, learned that there's a movement now for local governments to be included perhaps in a prong of that. I may need some flexibility in June where the board doesn't meet to take action to get us involved up front to best preserve our rights and put us in the best position to recoup as much as we possibly can. So I'd just like to ask the board for preliminary authorization now for me to engage class counsel and to at least take initial steps to participate in that litigation, and then I'll bring back more information to you in July, I'm sorry. May not need to do this, but I want to be in a position that if I need to act quickly in June when the board isn't meeting, that I'm able to do that and not potentially, I should say, be in the best position to put us in a good place to get everything we can.
Do you want that in a motion?
That'd be good if I could
I'd
get
make
that
that.
motion.
Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, go ahead.
I'd make that motion.
Okay.
Motion second on the request of the county attorney.
Thank you
As
very much.
spoken. All those in favor say yay.
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 Carries unanimously. Thank you.
And I will return to the board with information on what happened,
Okay.
of course. Thank you.
Okay, next report will be District 2. Commissioner Goodson.
None, sir.
Okay, District 3, Commissioner Atkinson, no report. 4, Commissioner Feltner, no report. And I have no report either. So, show the meeting adjourned.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.